some issue, that's all, right? So, my lovely co-host is here, Miss Carol Tanya. Happy New Year, my
Reese,
love.
turn your volume up, please.
Stuff as low as it can be. Um, it's up. You can't hear me?
I can hear you. You're just kind of low.
No, it's a buck. It has reached the buck capacity. It
What does buck mean?
buck means it reached to the top. It can't go no more. For our
For everybody else who
non-Jamaican,
doesn't speak Reese lingo, it reached the max.
it has reached the maximum capacity.
It buck.
Buck. Oh my God. What's
Oh,
going on, my girl?
not too much, my dear. It is another Wednesday, but it is the first Wednesday for us of 2021, and it is amazing.
For real? Are we?
And yes,
Good. That's what's up.
yes, 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 yes. I'm so excited, as usual.
You can't say that yet. It's too early. But I love the energy. So pass it on.
Oh, yeah, you have to. You got to bring the energy. What do you think the people are here for? Not for us to be all Debbie Downers and oh, they're here. So we've got to bring that energy.
That's the bring it. You notice that we're wearing red? What's up? You feel hot today? Huh?
Huh?
You notice that we're wearing red?
Oh, I didn't even notice. Oh my goodness.
Feel hot today, my girl.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, nice, nice. Some of our guests are asking for the passcode, so
Okay.
I'm providing that.
I don't know what. Listen, I just stop questioning things. I'm gonna just go with the
You just go with the flow.
go with the flow because we were having no problem before, and all of a sudden it's Fort Knox up in here. I don't know, so I just go with the flow. I can't bother to. I gotta figure.
Listen,
You know,
we go, like you said, we go with the flow and we do it.
yes. So how is it cold up there?
Um, I haven't been out today. I have to be honest with you.
Okay.
I've been indoors today, so I don't really know how super cold it is. To me, it's like winter, so all winter is cold. Even if it's 40 something degrees, 50 something degrees, whatever, it's cold.
It's down here that we have little temperature changes here and there, but it's nice today. I must say.
Oh, that's good. What's the temperature like? I don't even know. I gotta check the temperature
I
here
don't know.
today.
I just know it's nice.
Oh, you just know it's nice.
Yeah, I went there for a little bit. I don't know what the temperature is like, but I went out there for a minute and came back inside. So
Okay. Well, it doesn't seem amazingly cold today, so
mm-mm.
um
we're not wearing our
but then again,
we're not wearing our
yeah.
boots. Once we're not wearing our boots, we're good.
Okay. All right. I'm with it.
Yep,
I
yep.
wear my boots regardless.
No, but you're not in Florida.
Yes,
I'm sure you will not wear your boots in Florida.
probably not.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. Listen, if I were in Florida and it gets to what is it like 65 or something, is that considered cold?
Girl, you want to see us, you don't mind shop, you have goose jacket down there at 65 degree. Okay? I tell you, we just want the temperature to drop just a little bit before them boys
1 degree.
scarf and the sweaters and the hat, the earmuffs and all that. That's how we
That's
rock over
funny.
here. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, hey, listen, when you're used to having a certain temperature for, I don't know, the most of the year, and if that drops by a degree, you're going to notice. We're humans and we do notice that our bodies will detect the difference. So, it is what it is, but we roll with the punches because what else are we going to do? Mother Nature is in charge
Sure
and
is.
there is nothing we can do about it. So we roll with it, my dear. So
Listen,
happy Wednesday, everybody. I know I'm already getting comments from our listeners, our wonderful, amazing, supportive listeners who are always listening to us. We are Let's Connect. And as usual, Reese is here and Carol is here. And we're going to vibe with you today. We're going to chat with you. We're going to kick off 2021 right. And yes, you're asking, are we here? Are we here? We are here.
we is
And if you
here.
can't,
Right?
and
Yeah, we're
if you
here.
can't hear us, your volume just went up, which is fantastic. I think it just needed to get going. The machines needed to warm up.
All right. So
So,
we're here.
all right, are we on live? Because they always want to see us too.
Not
We're
live
not
yet.
live today.
No.
Okay, we're not live streaming today for you, but as usual, when we do not live stream, the show will still be posted on our YouTube channel. So, you're not gonna miss us. All right.
All right. So
Yeah.
real quick before I guess come on the topic. You know me. I love gossip, right? I ain't want to gossip, but you heard that Mr. Tyrese Gibson is getting a divorce, right?
Unfortunately, yes,
Unfortunately.
I did hear that.
But that's not the reason why, because Kim Kardashian getting a divorce too from the crazy man. And that's what they say that they're thinking about getting a divorce and whatever. But the reason why I brought up um Tyrese, I love me some chocolate Tyrese. Uh, I just had to put that up. Woo!
Well,
Listen,
um,
but he said I'm sorry, the reason why he think his marriage failed is because he did not. How can African Americans um, learn to be husbands and men if they never were brought up with that
mhm,
in their homes,
okay.
right?
If they never were brought up with
With
what?
male with that kind of living, as far as they're, in other words, he's
As far as seeing two parents?
right. How can you learn to be a husband when you're not brought up with a father or seeing that unity in a household? You're brought up with a
Got it.
single mom and whatever. So
Hmm.
I wanted to know, do you agree with that or don't you?
Um, that's a great question. And I did see some of that. I didn't hear the whole thing of what he mentioned, but I did hear that he mentioned something to that effect. And we are all influenced, like we know, from our environment. When we're growing up, what we see our parents doing is what we're going to do. um, all of us. So yes, there is that influence there, but at the same time, I do believe that we can define our lives and we can change.
Mhm.
So if we didn't see it, doesn't mean that we can never aspire to be it.
Right,
Just because we weren't raised in that type of environment doesn't mean that we can't go set out to achieve that in our own lives. And I firmly believe that if you didn't see it and now you have a wife, well, you better go learn, honey. You better go figure
exactly,
out what makes your wife happy, and
exactly.
you got to go figure out what's going to make a marriage work. And you can't blame it on your parents,
Or the,
because what if you were raised, how many people were raised in violent domestic violent situations and this and that. And not to bring that up, but they don't turn out to be exactly like that because they know what pattern they should not follow
right,
you know
exactly. That should be a
so
guide. That should be a
yeah,
guide for them. It's just
right,
saying you were raised in the projects. That mean you're gonna stay in the projects forever?
for
No,
the rest of your life.
you
So
know.
you weren't raised in seeing that, but it doesn't mean that you can't. But you got to put it, see, what we have to remember as human beings, right? All of us, is marriage takes work. It is like another job. It is
Yeah.
not something that we can take for granted and think it's just going to work all by itself. And we're going to snap our fingers and the other person is just going to, adhere to everything that we say or be submissive or whatever. It takes work because it's two people, different personalities, different ideals. and different ways in which we might want to raise our families, different issues and personality traits that we have. So, in order for my personality to get along with your personality and stuff, we're gonna have to work at it, honey. And it's every day. It's every day. So for him not having that when he was growing up, it would require a lot of work on his part, but it doesn't mean he can't do it just because he never saw it.
Right, exactly. That's what I think too.
Yeah.
Don't blame it on, go find a mentor. You know how many good, and he actually had a show with Tyrese and Rev Run of the group. Tell me what is the name again? Rev
Oh,
Run, the rap group. Reverend Run.
Run DMC.
Run DMC. They had a show, right? It was three men. I forgot what the other guy was. And Reverend was giving Tyrese, this is before he got married, advice.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a mentor. So he
Mm-hmm.
says that he didn't have anybody. How can African Americans have successful marriages if they don't have it in the home? They may not have it in the home, but go out and seek it if you need a mentor.
Yes.
So I think that was just like you just trying to find an excuse why your marriage didn't work, and now it's
Right.
getting
I
that.
mean,
You know,
yeah. And you can't do that. You can't just come up with an excuse to say that. It takes work, and it takes hard work. And a big part of it is working with your spouse, and talking with your spouse to try to find out, listen, what's going on, what's not working for you, and let's work at it. And every day, because every day we have different personalities, and every day we're going to do something potentially that's going to upset our partners. But what are you going to do?
right?
You've got to work it out. You got to figure it out.
Exactly. That's what I say.
And a lot of
Work,
us, because we're
work.
busy, we have 50,000 things that we're doing, we may not want to put in the work, or we feel like we don't have time to. And then later on, when it doesn't work, we're surprised, we're making excuses, but we absolutely cannot do that.
Let me tell you, I applaud those people that's married 25 years, 30 years, 50
Yeah,
years.
that's hard.
Woo! What? I, I, I cannot begin.
That took some work and
Work,
dedication on their part,
work,
because that is not easy.
not work in Jamaican term. Walk. That take walk.
Yes,
So
that takes some work.
what I'm telling you,
Oh, yes.
it's not easy, and not in any relationship. Being a friend, because you have some toxic friend out there that you have to like wonder, are you with them or not? Because they're like, you know what I'm saying? So you have to,
Yep.
not only that, you have the friendship, you have the relationship with your kids, you have relationship with your parents. So it's every relationship is our relationship, not only that. So um
Yeah.
that's my take. That's my take on that.
So, with that said, to wrap that up, I agree with that 100% with what you said. And like we said before, and I'm just going to round it off by saying it again, it takes work.
Mhm.
Okay. And just because you weren't exposed to that doesn't mean you can't learn it.
Right.
And it's a job, just like any other job. Yeah, of course, love is there. And
Mhm.
you got to have the love, and you have to have the respect and all of that. But does it always come just naturally, where you just because you love the person? No, love can change into something else later on, if you're not nurturing that love. So again, it's a lot of work, hard work, and you've got to be paying attention to the other person's needs every
Yeah,
day. Every
exactly.
day. And anybody who has been married for 35, 40, 50 years, they will tell you that.
Mhm.
Okay? They are constantly putting in work and paying attention to their spouses, to the other half, and what their needs are, learning what that is and catering to that. But it has to happen both ways, because it can't just be one, because that's not going to
Exactly.
work either.
It ain't gonna work. Exactly.
Yeah. But these days, young people and the younger, and everybody's so busy and
But
focused
you know,
on their careers and their lives and this and that,
as
people
you
forget
as
that.
generations go, as you see the generation, we, and I include us, we are less tolerant to the BS. So our thing is, right? I'm not putting up with this crap because I can take care of myself. I'm independent. I can do my thing. I don't need a man slash I don't need a woman. You understand? So that's
Yeah.
we can take care of ourselves. So back in the day, it was grandma stayed home while grandpa went out and work, you know,
Yeah.
and that was her role. Now our
Yeah.
role is mother and father going out to work, coming home, bringing home the bread, you know.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we say, I'm not taking that crap, and I ain't gonna take the crap. And we haul but we're not thinking about the long term. What happened to when we retire now, when we by ourselves, right? We don't think about the companionship. Now we want a companion, right? And we're not thinking about that. Of course, you're gonna want to sit one day. You want to sit down and oh, it would be nice to have Mr. Gentleman right there. We talking, running a little joke, go to the movies, but we don't think about that at the time when we say we don't need no man. We don't need, My grandmother,
Yeah.
perfect example. She tells me all the time, Patrice, because she lives by herself, very active woman, but she says she gets lonely sometimes. Ever since my grandfather passed, she never remarried and she never dated. And she's like, no, she's home. She would love to have a little companion, to talk to, especially in the COVID now. She by herself,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
we have to think about that too. Long term, we can deal with them now, but what happens when we get older,
Absolutely.
right? So,
That is true. That's
and
true.
that's how I'm signing off.
Well, there you have it, folks. That was our wow for today. What's affecting us and chatting about marriage and the fact that it takes constant work to
Yep.
make it happen. So don't you forget, you've got to put that work in. If you say I do, you don't just leave it there. All right, it continues. So today, everybody, we are so excited. And what we're going to do for the first show of 2021, we really wanted to share with everybody. And if we didn't, when I say we collectively, us, you guys, our listeners, if we didn't all get to do what we wanted to do in 2020, we've got a new year now. All right, let's do this together. We want to help you, all of us on this panel, including our guests who are going to be coming on. We've all decided that we have goals. But in order to get to your goals, one, you have to recognize what your goals are. And then two, you've got to plan for them, okay? Because it's not just going to come out of magically appear somewhere unless we sit down, really think about, what do you want to do? And your goals are unique to you. So we're not here to say what your goals are or to tell you whether they're right or wrong. Your goals are your goals. But do you have your goals in mind? Have you thought of them? And if you haven't, that's okay. We're not going to bash you. We just want to help. Okay. And we want to start off right at the very beginning so you can kick off the year right. We're not talking about New Year's resolutions because we all know how that works.
Hmm.
We don't keep New Year's resolutions.
I'm, I'm,
We all
I'm
say,
still working on last year resolution.
exactly. All right.
Last year.
So we all know how that works. So we don't want to do New Year's resolutions. What we want to do is goals. And we want to plan for those goals and really work toward them. And as we talk today, we're going to go into what some potential goals of yours could be and how you should go about achieving those goals and doing it in a way where it is achievable and it doesn't feel like it's such a chore or it doesn't feel impossible. All right, that's what we're here for. All right, so with that, we are going to welcome, dun, 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 dun. We will welcome our first guest, and this is Miss Yoli, and she is our real estate expert extraordinaire, which is just one of the fantastic things that she does. Okay, so she does so much, but we wanted to. She seriously, guys, she is a boss lady for real.
What they call them, serial entrepreneur, like myself. That's what they call it, Yoli.
What?
Serial entrepreneur.
Cereal?
Yeah, the term out there for entrepreneurs that do more than one businesses, they call them serialpreneur. Yeah, yeah.
they, they
Oh,
changed the
okay.
name from multitasking. Okay.
That's a fancy
Okay.
name. Fancy name.
Okay, well, whatever it is, all right, we're gonna say, listen, she is a boss lady for real. She wears many hats and she does them well. And one of the reasons
You.
why I really admire you, Yoli, is because you do it well. You're considerate in what you're doing, and you are a go-getter. And I really appreciate you for that. And we really wanted to get some of your wisdom on
Mhm.
this show to help us to get going at the beginning of the year. So if you could just chat with us a little, first of all, tell us, what you do in the real estate. You could tell us about your business, but then chat with us about real estate because I know many of us perhaps want to either rent, buy a home. Some people may be selling a home, this and that, but people don't really know how to go about doing these things. So we want to get them started. And if you have any tips that you could give us.
Well, the one thing that I will first and foremost say is that in order to um, obtain any type of goal, you have to think smart. And when you think about that 5 letter word, it's being specific in your goals, making sure you set measurable goals, achievable goals, realistic goals, as well as a time target. So, as a realtor, one of the things that I believe in is being educated and being organized. Now, when we think about renters, I have a soft spot for renters because a lot of times they don't know that they are capable of owning their own home. And so the
Mhm.
first thing is, when you think about that game Monopoly, right? We all played that as a kid. We try to get Boardwalk or Park Place, and then the game is over. But really, that game teaches you how to buy and sell, okay, and
Mhm.
how to rent, okay? So the one thing is when you're going out to rent, is to be mindful and be ready. To be ready means your proof of income, because as a realtor, one of the requirements, we do 40 times the rent. So let's just say if you're looking for a rent for 1,200, we're going to times that by 40. So your household income requirement should be at least 48,000, right? And then there's a background check, which um, include your rental history, whether they're making sure that there's no judgments or no evictions. And then, of course, the criminal. And then, of course, the credit score is a big factor, even in renting. Most landlords, even in COVID, want a 650 credit score, not just the score, but the full credit report to see your payment history, to see what kind of person you are. And then on top of that, renters should be mindful. You need to have a cash flow in the bank. So a lot of times we as realtors, we ask for bank statements. Where are you going to get your moving fees from? Okay. So taking that $1,200 rent, you know, a month and a half security, first month rent, and sometimes there's a broker fee. You're looking at at least 4,200 just to move in.
Hmm.
So a lot of renters are not even ready to move. And a lot of renters been stuck in their one apartment for years. And now when it's time to move out or move on due to whatever circumstances, they don't know those criterias matter. So it's educating and being prepared. Now, let's just move in with renters. Why rent when you can own? Okay. You're going to take that same 1,200 and pay it every month to a landlord who is really an investor, right? Because he got to pay the mortgage. So you pay that every month for a year. You're looking at least $14,000. You're giving away money. Nobody wants to move, not even in COVID, at least every year. So you're going to stay there at least 2 to 3 years. So now you're paying this landlord, this investor, $43,000 within 3 years of $1,200. So the more you pay rent, the more you're giving away. I've seen people give away hundreds and thousands of dollars in renting. And when they look at the math, they don't look at long term. Don't think
Mm.
short term. I pay my $1,200. Oh, that's cheap. I pay my $1,200 every month. I'm good. I got more money to spend for whatever. But over a course of 3 years, look how much you've given away when you could take those same requirements, your credit score, cash flow in the bank, background checks and whatever, and go apply to become a first-time home buyer, which brings
Mm.
on down to be a first-time home buyer, transitioning that renter's mentality to a buyer. You need to be pre-qualified. Pre-qualified lets you know everything that needs to be done. You need this, and this. And sometimes it can seem overwhelming because why do I have to give up all this information? I got to look for my tax records. And that's the issue. Tax records, bank statements, your proof of income, all these things are online. It shouldn't be 2 or 3 days or a month and a half to gather up these documents. So
Okay.
when you go to get pre-qualified, they're going to tell you, the mortgage specialist, the lender is going to say, Yolanda, you need this in order for me to see what your buying power is. What do you qualify for? It doesn't make sense to go look at a house for 300,000 when you only qualify for 100,000, or maybe you qualify for 500,000. So knowledge is power. Do your education, do your research, and all this that I'm saying is online. You can go online and search for what the rates are. You can run a few mortgage calculations to see what your monthly payment is. You want to be careful when you get pre-qualified or pre-approved, I should say, that's your financing. That's going to tell you, what you qualify for, and then that factors in, everything else, your taxes. So
I have a question.
go ahead.
What about the people, the person that don't want to own a home? Like you have some people like, listen, owning a home is the American dream, right? But at the same time, they don't want to, if something breaks, they're responsible for fixing it. As opposed to when you rent, you can just call the landlord and say, listen, the AC broke, right?
Right.
So, what do you say to those people? How do you encourage them, I should say, that home ownership is beneficial to them?
It's beneficial because you're going to get a tax write-off. Again, you throwing away $40,000. To me, that's a no-brainer. When I think of, okay, he's going to come fix my AC. Maybe he will come and maybe he won't. Okay. Maybe you need it tonight and he won't come until next month.
Mm,
Okay. And you end up, you can't paint, because you got to return. Most times you have to return the unit the way you received it. You
right.
have you have a lease with all these stipulations. Okay. So you're kind of stuck in a box. And I feel like if you don't want to own because, for whatever reason, that's fine. But again, plan for something. Make sure you have a savings because unforeseen occurrences befalls us all. And being a realtor, I've seen so many sad cases, elderly, all ages, all income status. The landlord is selling the building. So you were loyal. I've had people who's been living in places for 10 years. They became the super, they became the maintenance, they became the excellent tenant, and now they gotta go. Okay.
Right.
Not even offering them the opportunity. You've been such a good tenant of mine. Would you like to buy the property?
Right, right.
Right.
That would be
So,
good too.
and
That
if something breaking your house, honestly, me being a homeowner, I bought this house when it needed a lot of upgrades, a lot. Okay. I took my time. It still need upgrades, but you reap the benefits.
that's the beauty of home ownership when you can take your time and buy your stuff and
And buy the AC that broke.
exactly right.
And
But
I know a lot of times people, I'm not ready. It's okay. But the one good takeaway, literally, I've taken someone to show them an apartment. And for example, the 3 bedroom, a lot of times when people look at 3 bedrooms, it's a family of 6. And a lot of times the apartment is small because we know they're chopping things up now.
Yeah.
And I said, why you're already paying 2,200. And then when I do that same calculation, I end up educating them. I spend hours because that's the type of person I am. Most realtors is not going to waste their time. You know, even if they are not ready to buy, it gives them something to think about. And they're going to be more conscientious about giving up that money. Like, I'm giving you this
Right.
money. And trust me, a lot of people that are looking for apartments because they have problems with their landlords or they're selling the building. You know, nobody wants to move. That's why I said over a course of at least 3 years, you're going to be in your apartment, sometime longer. You're throwing away thousands of dollars, and that is a tax write-off when you're a homeowner.
Right.
And you accumulate equity in your property.
Do you find that
Yeah.
there are more sales during the COVID now?
It's hot and popping. The real estate is hot and popping.
I just can't understand why. I
The interest rate is so low. That's number one. And a lot of people are looking to sell their home. So now there's opportunity for buyers to buy. People are refinancing. I just refinanced to consolidate. You know, I have a home equity loan as well as my mortgage interest rate, and I got a better interest rate. So people, I'm busy. This is one of my checklists. These are buyers, 3 buyers.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So and they both are renters. And
Right.
so even as a homeowner, I want to become an investor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so one of the things is knowing your buying power, cash flow in the bank. How are you making your money work for you? Even in COVID, I know people are experiencing a lot of hard times, but people are getting these stimulus checks. They may be getting unemployment, or they may be getting a little extra here and there. I always advise anyone, when you get extra, you save extra.
Mm-hmm.
You can save $10,000 in 6 months if you put your mind to it. Maybe less than that.
repeat that.
You can set a goal and save $10,000 in 6 months.
Oh.
If not less than that, if you put your mind to it. And the
Well,
way,
that would depend on your income, though, right?
yeah, it could. I don't have income. No, I'm only kidding. You set goals. You set, again, going back to being smart, achievable goals. Maybe it's not 10,000.
Right.
Maybe it's 5. Maybe it's 3.
Exactly. And that's what I
Okay.
want people to know, that, if depending on how much money you have or whatever is feasible for you, it may not be $10,000, it may not be $5,000, but set that goal, know what you can manage. And instead of running out to spend that money on all these different things, perhaps you want to budget a little bit and put some of that money away. Set a goal to say, if but you've got to know, like Yoli just said, you have to have done some research, know what your goal should be, how much money you're going to need to put down or something like that. And then you break that down, right, Yoli? I would imagine that's how you counsel your clients. Maybe you want to go into that a little bit more for us.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing is, especially when if you're thinking about, even if you're renting, again, that's the lowest price point, $1,200. So you're going to need $4,000 just to move in. If there's a broker fee, if there's no broker fee, it'll be maybe $3,000. But still, the mindset has to be, I need to be ready. It doesn't make sense shopping around for that lovely apartment and you're not ready. Same thing with buying a house. If you don't have that down payment, you don't have closing costs, you don't have leftover cash reserves, you're not ready. So the key to all of this is do your homework. And I have no problem as a realtor educating and giving out information on how you can obtain whatever goal you're setting in the real estate market, either buying, renting, selling, or becoming an investor. Okay, because the main thing is being ready. Okay.
So if you don't know some of these, the answers to some of these questions regarding what, how much money you're going to need to even start out, or what point you need to get to, someone can actually reach out to you as a realtor to maybe have a consultation with you or something, and you give them some advice, or is that like not usually done?
Well, I mean, definitely they could start out with me as a point person. I'm not the expert. I would definitely, I have a network of phenomenal mortgage reps, specialists, I should say, because I can
Mhm.
tell all the things that I've said are the things that I will say again, but the mortgage specialist is going to let them know what they qualify for and how much money they need based on that information. You know, their credit score, their how much money they have in the bank, you know, their financial background. That's going to be key to getting pre-approved or knowing how much money they will need. But think about 20%. So 20, I mean, if you have money in the bank, a conventional loan is probably the best way to go. The more money you put down, you know, the
Mhm.
less your loan would be. Versus there's programs out there 3% down, you know, and so depending on 3% down, how much you would need to have. So, but the
Right.
key is being ready,
Okay.
being ready. And I find a lot of people not ready. I can chase down all day long, you know, asking for information, and they don't understand why that information is needed. It's like renting is almost like buying a house. Same,
So,
same requirements.
okay. Gotcha. So for everybody who's listening, there are certain topics that we wanted to touch on today in terms of what are your plans for 2021. And like we said, real estate, and whether that is, and some people, like Yoli just said, you may not realize renting is a part of that. Make a plan. If you need some place to rent, it's not just going to magically happen for you, or you snap your finger and all of a sudden there are certain requirements. There are different people in different situations, and especially right now too with the COVID and people losing money and this and that. You want to really understand your finances and what the requirements are if you want to become a renter. Maybe you want your own place for whatever reason. um, these are some of the requirements. Do your homework, do your research, or if you want to buy a home, because right now the interest rates are at a good point. Well, understand what your needs really are and dig in. Do
Mhm.
some of that research, look it up. Don't be afraid to look it up. And maybe people didn't realize, and that's what we're here for. We want to educate you and not to discourage you. We just want you to have all the information to let you know it can be done.
Mhm.
So don't be
Yeah,
afraid and run away from it. Just make the plan.
I have this saying that Reese said, what if people don't, they don't want to buy their, they okay with renting. You are paying a mortgage, Reese. You're just not paying yours. You're paying somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah,
So the
Right.
bottom line is put the loan in your name.
true.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right. It's true. A lot of people, and I have to say, I've thought that myself too, in the past, where it's like, oh, you know what? Listen, renting is easy, man. You don't have to worry about fixing stuff, and this is not yours, so you just rent and that's it. You don't have the headache of a home and having to deal with all of that. But, I like the way you put it, Yoli, to let people know that you can be owning on the same amount of money, perhaps, when you think long term of how much money you're giving to a landlord.
Yes.
And people don't look at it that way. They're just looking at the monthly rent.
And do you know the monthly rents are more than mortgages? Some rents are. In certain areas, the rent is more than mortgages.
Yeah.
But it depends on what a person wants. They want, convenience, easy commute,
Right.
amenity. That's fine. But if you're going to pay, for me, the average person, I'm talking about the average person who's paying 2,500 a month for rent, and they're not getting anything for that, and they're looking for another apartment, either 2,200. You want to save $300. So take that same $300 and think about multiplying that if you were to own your own home. Why,
Okay.
why keep moving back and forth when you can set goals up and do something for yourself. And I've had a lot of success stories. I had a lot of success stories, and the success stories don't come easy. I'm talking about people who didn't expect that they can own. And it was a challenge. We went from 2 family to 1 family to South Jersey to Bayonne, here, there, and he was able to get a condo. And he felt so good. He was the only working person. He didn't have a lot. He had a decent income and a decent credit, but he felt so good. And that's like one of my testimonies, because it's like he came to me to rent for 1,400.
Wow.
Right.
So
So another question too is right now with the COVID, a lot of people may have lost their jobs. Perhaps they do have some cash, or in assets, etc. So what do you say to, or do you have any advice that you could give to those people if they want to become a homeowner? Is it possible? Must you have an income, like a job, in order to do that?
you have to have
Or,
a job. You have to have employment, unless you're going to buy it cash and you can show proof of cash. You have a co-signer. There's other ways around it.
mhm.
Again, the loan officer, the mortgage rep is the one who's going to tell you there's different programs. Um, Say they have a 401, they may have a whole, salary saved up in their 401, something like that. But anything is possible as long as you get the education, the knowledge that you need. It may not be at that moment, but they may say, okay, come back in 3 months, come back in 6 months. Things happen. I mean, like I said, a lot of people are buying homes right now.
Okay.
Different,
So
one
then,
income household.
so some of your advice or your tips right now, and everybody who's listening, if this is you and you're thinking of either renting or purchasing a home, etc., grab a notebook, and a pen, and take some notes right now. It's really basic and simple. Like we said, we can't tell you what your specific situation will be, okay, because everybody is different, but just some tips for what you should be focusing on if the real estate is one of your goals for 2021 or maybe even 2022, perhaps, because if you don't have income or something, you may need to just start laying out your plan now, realistically working towards it. These are some things and some tips for you. And I would say, Yoli, if you could give them some tips. And I think one of the things I think I just heard is, if you don't know what your financial standings are, etc., go to your bank and talk to the mortgage officer or somebody, right?
Um, they can go to their bank. I like to deal with mortgage specialists. I mean, some people will go to Bank of America or maybe Chase, but I usually use lenders, small, like third-party lenders, because they have a more handle on guiding you from start to finish. You can go to, that's an option. They have the choice to go wherever they want, and always, they can get more than one opinion. So,
Okay.
the one thing is, don't try to do it by yourself. Do your research online and get ideas of, what you want, what the rates are. Know your financial situation. Know you first.
Mm-hmm.
Know you. Okay. And then once you do that and you say, you know what, I'm thinking about owning, what do I need? And then you team up with a reliable, honest hearted realtor. You'll be the one and only.
Yes.
And I'm, you get someone who will guide you from start to finish. They will not leave you in the dark. And no
Right.
question is simple. So that's the first thing. And a lot of people, sometimes they are educated, they know what they want, they just need, the guidance, because there's a lot of moving parts to buying a house. And then you have some that don't have a clue, like my friend Joe. He had no clue, and he was calling me all day every day, and I was on the spot, and we maintain our friendship, our relationship now, because we built that relationship trustworthy, where he can count on me or call on me. And so
Yeah.
that's what's key.
Okay.
Keep your eyes on the prize is what I tell my clients. Put a picture in front of you.
Yes. Very good. So know your financial situation. Keep your eyes on the prize. Just know what your finances are. Know how much you have and what you would like to spend, and then talk to someone knowledgeable like Miss Yoli
Mm-hmm.
and honest, who will help you to really dig in, understanding the market, understanding where you stand, and how you can actually gain a home or something. And if you can't do it right now, you put a plan together for however long it's going to take you, and you stick to it. So
Mm-hmm.
those are some of the tips. And Yoli, if you would
One other tip.
yeah.
One other big tip, Carol, you got to reiterate this. If you
Mhm.
got debt, pay that debt down. And when you're in the process about to buy, don't go spending and splurging.
Mhm.
Pay down your debt.
True.
The debt ratio should be almost zero if possible.
Yeah, we always tend to, like, I'm thinking about these stimulus checks that we're supposed to get, right? And we and
Put that in your boss lady count.
it's true. But the
Get
first
that 10,000 up.
the first thing that we think about is, Lord, we gotta get that Michael Kors or get that this. That
What?
makes no sense.
Where you going?
Huh? You know what I'm saying?
Where you
Exactly. Where you going? We're in the COVID. Where are you going?
We're going to the living room to the room, okay? We gotta step in style. But yeah,
You gotta take your picture and put it on Instagram or something with your
but
Michael Kors, like.
yeah, back then when I was younger, I used to do stuff like that. I ain't gonna lie. I used to do stuff. You get your little tax return. Instead of putting it in the bank, man, I'm running to the mall. I'm getting this, I'm getting that. I gotta get this, and I'm like, okay,
We always like that, Reese.
yeah,
We all like, my testimony, that's one reason of being a realtor, because I share a testimony. When I bought my house, my debt to ratio was not good. I was just basically coming out of debt. Okay. My interest rate was like 10 point whatever. Like my credit was jacked up. Okay. And when I share my testimony, I keep it real. Okay. And that's what people need to hear. They
yeah,
don't need to feel this American dream is only for a certain status.
mm,
I walked the walk not knowing what the next day was going to be for me, but I got my house.
right.
I was determined in everything that I needed to do. Like, you may not have all your ducks in a row, but as long as you have that mindset and you have pieces of the puzzle, everything else will fall into play.
And the reason why I mentioned it was because when you're 25 to 2025, yeah, you do that. But if you are 50 and still taking them refund checks and buying more cores and whatever, and you still not have a plan, there's something wrong. We're
Yeah.
supposed to be learning, right? We're
Hmm.
supposed to be growing and whatever. So that's why I said that we need to invest wisely.
Yeah. And the
Yes.
one way to invest with that stimulus check, I believe in having multiple accounts. Okay. So you need to have multiple bank accounts, right? And me being self-employed, of course, one is for business, one is for the paying household expense, and then I got my boss lady. So if I get that stimulus, it's going there. And I'm obsessed. Get something that makes you, whatever your psyche is. My psyche is, I like whole numbers. So if I got something in my account that's 1183, it got to be $12. Like, I'm going to transfer 7 cents.
Yes.
Really?
I'm
Okay.
like
Wow.
that too. I will move 7 cents
Really?
just to get around the number.
Yes.
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 It bothers me. If I have $11.83, I gotta
Yes.
move that over, honey.
Wow.
So
$11.93 rather. I
yes,
gotta move that
move that
seven
7 cents.
cents to
Exactly.
make
So
sure it is
that
rounded
keeps
off to
me on track,
$12.
Reese, to get up to that goal,
I'm like
whether
that.
it's
I've done
5,000
that.
or 10,000. Okay. So when I get some extra, boom, it's boom.
Well,
Because I don't want to see cents.
I can
Nope.
understand you guys with that, but mine is not on a financial level. I can understand because I'm like that with my pots and my plastics. If my pots are not in the thing, I cannot. It
If
has
you like that with your pots and
to work.
plastic, that's your mindset. That's your
Right.
psyche.
That's
You
I
I don't want to do
Exactly.
understand.
that. You want to go get that Michael Kors bag.
Yep.
Yes.
So I understand you with that, sir.
And,
But yeah,
and another,
But
and I'm gonna give this is my last tip for me. I'm a big supporter. If you're a small business owner, I got you. I'm gonna support you. But I said 2021, my goal is to get rid of the cents. So right now, I'm not splurging. I'm not supporting. Doesn't mean I don't love you. I'll be back, but I gotta go. So sometimes you have to sacrifice.
yes,
right,
Okay,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Reese.
Very,
Thank you, Mrs.
very.
Willie. I gotta sacrifice. No.
Yes.
Yes.
Put
Yes,
those
Reese.
cents in order, right? Put those cents in order.
And you know what? I'm gonna be thinking about that now, right? I'm like, oh
I
Lord.
do it. I look around my account and I'm like, okay, and I calculate that seven
Yes.
cents. I'm like, I'll move that 7 cents over because it's got to be round.
And tell me why one of my banks take 3 days to transfer. I'm like, what's taking them cents so long to move over? Come
You
on.
know, it's only 7 cents. Come on, 23 cents. I've moved it. 37 cents. Oh yeah, I'm moving that 37 cents
Uh,
over because it's
But
got to
you
be
know what?
rounded
It's
off.
not, and let me say this, it's not about the cents, it's about watching your money. I posted today,
Yes,
like, I don't
I
invest,
saw that.
but I
Tell us
watch.
about that real quickly. Tell us about that real quickly before we go into another segment.
Okay, so I'm semi-retired, right? I worked on Wall Street 25 years, so I still have a 401 plan, but I'm considered inactive because I'm not working there anymore. So my money is still there. And it's the beginning of the year. I'm doing my checks in my balance, checking on the 23 cent here and then. I'm like, negative. What's going on here? I'm not playing another. What's going on with the stock market? And it's not like I could put money in the account. I could take out because
Right,
it's mine, but I can't put in.
right.
So why y'all playing with my money and I'm losing money? So the lady was really nice to explain, certain funds are more aggressive than others.
Right.
So I transferred my monies into a more um, conservative. So
Yes.
that way I don't really want to be losing no money because at the end of the day, when I am ready to retire, I want what's mine.
Yes.
So but the thing is, you got to stay on top of your funds. You got to know what's you entitled to because like Reese started out saying, you know, when you get older and you by yourself, you got to take care of yourself. You don't know what each day promise.
Exactly. And for
So
all of us people listening out there, this is so key what Yoli just mentioned. Even if, I'm saying, even if you got $20 in the bank, it doesn't even matter. You have to pay attention to that $20. Pay attention to it. Don't just leave it and just leave it to sit there, and talk to your bank, right? This is a part of what Yoli was talking about too, that I want to add. Perhaps talk to your bank, go to your bank and talk to them to see maybe it's not sitting in the right place. It's not sitting in the right account. You want to move it to another account where the money can actually work for you. That's a whole financial summit and discussion that we will have, and we have some financial experts who are going to come in and talk to you guys about how to do that. But think about doing that and go in and talk to them. Don't just leave it somewhere where it's not doing anything for you. All right, and watch your money. I love that post that you did today to show everybody that you've got to monitor it. So if you're losing money in your account, maybe there's something else you need to do. You need to move that money, move it around, but stay on top of it.
right,
So
that's key.
thank
Keep your
you,
eyes
my
on the
dear.
prize.
Thank you so much for coming in and chatting with us today. I love it every time you stop in with us. I really appreciate you because you got your
I love it.
stuff
Thanks
under
for having me.
control. I love it. I'm going to ask you a favor, just like I'm asking all the guests. So, just to support us and make sure, because we pass out such amazing information to our audience, when you guys are done, if you could post a little testimonial about your experience on the show, and that way we can, use it as well, and it adds to our marketing, and it supports us, and it lets
I
everybody
got you. I
else
got
know.
Reese.
Yes, yes. So if you could post a little testimonial about the show and what you experienced and what we're talking about, so that other people will also learn that we're giving out gems on this show. All right. And they need to tune in as well. So thank you, Miss Yoli,
Thank you,
for
Miss Carol. Thank
coming
you,
in.
Reese.
Thank you, Miss Yoli. I know we're gonna see you again because
Yes,
are
Yes,
you're like our household guest, you know.
yes. Wednesdays are
yes,
reserved for Let's Talk. No, Let's Connect.
yes,
All right. We
yes.
love that. We love that.
Yes, we love it. And you have so much to share with all the different industries that you manage. And everybody out there, thank you, Yoli. Give us your information again for people who are thinking about the real estate market, whether you want to buy a home, whether you want to rent, or even if you want to sell your home. How can they reach you, Yoli?
Just go to yoli.dean@gmail.com, or you can just look me up on Keller Williams website. I'm located in Jersey City. Again, Yoli, YOLI .dean, DEANE @gmail.com. I look forward to speaking with you.
And your IG for your real estate?
Real estate, Yoli Realtor. Or you can look me up as
Yoli.
Sweet Diva Yoli.
There you go. Yoli, and it's YOLI, okay, on Instagram. So look her up, and any way that you need to reach her, reach out to her, and she'll help you navigate. All right.
Most
Thank you, Miss
definitely.
Yoli.
All right. Have a good day, ladies. Take care.
Thank you. You do the same. Bye.
Yes,
So,
yes, that's some good tips. Good info.
absolutely.
But
Yes.
go ahead.
No, my dear, go ahead.
No, I said, but before we make that big purchase, we got to check on something first to make sure
Yeah.
we can make that big purchase.
Oh, yeah. Before we make a big purchase like a home
That's
or something, and Yoli actually mentioned it. She talked about it. She actually talked about the fact that you've got to check your credit, right?
check that credit.
Absolutely. Before you can even do any of that stuff, check your credit. And with that, we have another amazing guest, and I'm so excited that she is joining us today because you know what? When it comes to your credit, you better be on top of it. You've got to know what you're doing and you can monitor it. And it is all doable, everybody. It's doable. It is not an impossible thing. And what she does is she makes sure that if your credit is not where it's supposed to be, she's going to help you fix that. Okay. She's going to repair your credit. Her name is Deshonda Alexander, and she is the founder and owner of Second Chance Credit Repair Company. All right. So Deshonda is here, Second Chance Credit Repair, and I've seen some of the transformations that she has done for people who were just, their credit was just really, really low, and she helped them to fix it and correct it. All right. So Deshonda, are you there, my dear?
Hello,
Well,
ladies. How are you guys?
Hey, hi, Deshaun. How are
hi.
you?
I'm good. Happy New Year to you, lovely ladies.
Same to you. Same
Thank
to you.
you. And the same to you, my dear.
Thank you. Thank you. I am so excited. Thank you, Miss Tanya, for that great introduction. I am so excited to be back with you guys again, Miss Carol, excuse me, to be back with you guys again. I appreciate it.
Oh,
So
yes.
yes, ma'am. So do we have questions or do we just want to jump right on in?
So just to bring you up to speed a little bit, so it's 2021, right? And
Yes.
hooray, we made it. We are happy. We are so excited. We're moving into 2021. And like we said before, if we did not get to reach our goals in 2020, what are we going to do for 2021 in order to get to our goals, right? And
Mm-hmm.
in that, one of the big ticket items in all of our lives, whether we are aware of it or not, or whether we want to admit it or not, is our credit standing. You need to have a good credit standing for anything that you want to do in life, whether you're buying a car, whether you're buying a home, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You need a credit standing. And with that, I know that you are the expert in this field. So I wanted you to help our listeners come up with some sort of a roadmap because we're doing goal planning right now. How are you going to address first thing? What do you need to do to make sure that your credit is in good standing? And then
Sure.
we take it from there.
Absolutely. Well, I think the key is to get started, right? So the key is definitely to make a goal to sit down and to get started because you definitely want to know where you stand in regards to your credit scores and, what you're trying to accomplish, whether it be just trying to review your credit scores or whether it be also to, if you're looking to purchase a home or if you're looking to purchase a car or even, maybe to refinance. So the key is just to get started. I think that, uh, this year and the previous years, there's so many great free tools. A lot of people feel like they have to pay a lot of money, to get their credit repaired, and that's not necessarily the case. Me myself, I fixed my credit years ago, just kind of studying. But the key is to get started. So I would say the first thing would be is to know what your credit scores are, right? Because you want to be able to purchase something, but you yourself, you don't want to have any surprises when you go to the car lot or when you're going to when you're I'm sorry guys, I apologize if my phone out. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
No.
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, so the key is just to kind of know, where you stand. So I would say the first thing would be to is to pull up your credit report. I know that some people use Credit Karma. I would say is to use there's something, and I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this. I think we might have discussed this on my last call. But it's annualcreditreport.com, right? So due to COVID and everything that's going on, the government is offering everyone a free credit report. So it's gonna, you can go online and it's annualcreditreport.com. What you're going to do is create yourself an account. You're going to fill the information out and then you're going to go in and pick the reports that you want. And then you're going to request that information. So the key is, again, to know what's on your credit report. So once you're able to go online and fill that information out and get those credit reports in hand, then you can start the next process. But I think that's the key as far as knowing what's on there, knowing what accounts really are your accounts, and knowing any information as far as whether the information is correct or whether you need to dispute it or not.
Okay. Excellent. That's the first step, everybody. Know your credit report. Go look it up. It is free. Like Deshonda just mentioned to you, that's the first thing you have to do. Whether, like Miss Yoli in real estate just talked about, whether you're trying to buy a home, a car, whatever it is, or even if you're not buying anything, but
Yep.
still know your credit standing. You may not be purchasing anything right now because you don't have um, the funds to do that, whatever, but know where your credit standing is so that if it's not where it should be, you can fix that. Or a lot of times people don't realize that perhaps there's some fraudulent activity happening with their credit,
Right.
right? You learn that via this report. Maybe you want to chat a little bit about that too, Deshonda. Like, what are the benefits of going out there and looking at their credit, getting a credit report?
Right. So the first thing, of course, is, to make yourself knowledgeable as far as, your scores. But then the next thing is to know what's on your credit report. So just in case, if there's anything that has been placed in your name, that is not yours, any accounts that have been opened that is not your account, you would then have the opportunity to go in and then dispute those accounts. But it's very, very important. I know I talked a little bit about this on our last call is it's important to know even checking those addresses, right? So we know that fraud is on an all-time high. People are opening up accounts in people's names. They're opening up bank accounts. I had an incident a couple of years ago where someone tried to access an account of mine. So just, knowing what's on your account, I would say start with the addresses, start with the phone numbers. Also reviewing the accounts, whether it be credit cards, whether it be loans. There's so many things that a lot of people are not aware of that is on their credit report. And so once you know what's on there, then you know how to attack it, especially if it is not your information. And I would say also, as far as knowing what's on there, if you have information that you're not aware of, or it's not your information, as far as any credit cards, any loans, don't be afraid to file a police report. I have a friend right now that's in the process of filing a police report because someone opened up utilities in her name. So that's key.
Okay. Got you. Got you. So everybody, you heard those tips as well. If you have to file a check your credit report, make sure there are no fraudulent activities happening. If there
Right.
is something happening, make sure you report it to the proper authorities, and keep it moving, because it is going to be tricky to get rid of that off your credit report, and you want to address it immediately. And I know that's something that I always worry about as well, so I'm constantly checking and monitoring, to make sure that I'm in the clear, because I want to find out, the most devastating thing. Have you ever heard of any experiences, Deshonda, that this may have happened to someone and they lost a lot of money, or they had any type of difficulties with this? I'm just curious.
So I would say for as myself, I wouldn't say I didn't lose anything, but I was right on the verge of getting ready to lose um, money. Someone had
Hmm.
did fraudulent activity with my, I think it came from T-Mobile, to be honest, but that's neither here or there. But they locked down my cell phone. I was not able to use
Hmm.
my cell phone. They locked down my email, and they also were getting ready to transfer a large lump sum of money out of my savings account. So I'm pretty sure they were next on their way to go ahead and start some fraudulent activity on my um on my credit card. But good thing I caught it just in time. I did have also during the holiday season though, my aunt, she she was a victim of fraud. Someone had gained access to her credit card. They charged, I think, a couple of $1,000s on her credit card and sent clothes. Uh, I think it was to New York or somewhere. So she was able to catch it. I mean, of course, the transaction had already cleared, but the bank was able to refund her the money back through the credit card company. So the thing is always to know, exactly what's going on when it comes to your credit card balances or even your credit. It may sound crazy. However, I check my credit at least 2 times or 3 times a week. Get the credit monitoring. If you can't afford
Hmm.
it, there's some companies where you can get it for free or little to nothing, even if it's $5 to $10 or so. But get that credit monitoring so that way, you can at least have that alert be sent to you, whether it be email or whether it be through phone. I know that Chase is a great bank. Chase will give you that information so that you have it. Because I've gotten alerts from Trace as well too. But just having that credit monitoring on your that's attached to your social, so that way, if anyone tries to access your account, you get that notification and you're not in the know as far as what is going on.
Right. And
Hmm.
what now? So the goal today also, we're trying to help people who also, if they have a low credit score, what do they need to do to bring that credit score up this year in 2021? Can you give them a few bullets, a few pointers in what you normally tell your clients who come to you for whatever they're looking for, but they're starting with you to help them to fix their credit? What do they need
Yeah,
to do?
absolutely. So I would say um, the first thing that we would do is, just once we know exactly what's on your credit, if it's a low credit score, I do always recommend, if my clients don't have one, would be that secure credit card. So that would be the first thing. There's
Okay.
other options that are available. So stop right there. Um, with the secure credit card. I'm sorry. Did you want to chime in a second? Sorry.
No, no,
Okay, okay.
go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So, doing the secure credit card. Yes, ma'am. And then so having the secure credit card would be one thing. That's definitely a great secure booster, a good booster in regards to your credit. I would say another thing is that a lot of people, more people, I guess, are starting to become more so aware of this. Is having yourself be added on if you have a family member or a friend that you can trust. Because I've had some clients where their friends are very, very nice enough to add them as an authorized user to their credit, right? So you're
Mhm.
not going to actually get that credit card in hand, but what you're going to do is be basically be able to piggyback off of that person's credit. So those are two good things that it's definitely going to give you a boost. I have one of my clients recently um, was added as a an authorized user to someone's credit card that gave him a boost of about 75 points within, I believe, 2 months or so. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of my favorite, especially when you know that that person is paying their credit card on time. Now, the key is to make sure that they're paying their credit card on time because if they don't, if they miss a payment, your credit is also going to suffer as well too.
Right. Okay. I love that you just said that. I love that you just said that. So everybody, listen to this. I knew about this before, but I love that Deshonda just mentioned that because I don't know how many people are taking advantage of that. But here are the keys. So be if you can get a trusted, now that's the key word, a trusted family member or friend or someone to add you onto their credit card as an authorized user. That will actually boost your credit score potentially by a whopping maybe 70, 75 points,
Mm-hmm.
that Deshonda just mentioned. So you can, that will be one alternative. That's a step that you can take that will help to boost your credit score. However, there are a couple of things that cautionary tales. One, make sure whoever the person is with the credit report is reliable, trustworthy, and are paying
Mm-hmm.
their credit card bill on time because that will also ruin your credit even more.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure they're trustworthy. And number two, make sure that you're also not a delinquent and you pay these people the money, your portion of the bill on time because you
Mm-hmm.
want to be responsible as well because that is my fear adding someone to my credit card and then they don't pay they use up the card adding them as an authorized user they used and they purchased but then when it's time to pay the bill it's left on moi.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I would say the key is to never, if you're going to add someone as an authorized user, which I have done in the past, I never have that card to go directly to them. Because the key is I am trying to help you to establish great credit or I'm helping you to give you that credit booster, if you will, that you're looking for. It's not the key to take my credit card and use it, if you will. So what I do is I take the credit card. Once I get it, I activate it, and then after you activate it, cut it up. You're going to have the same card number. So that way, that person is not just taking your credit and using it as they will. They're just using it for the sole purpose of getting that
Building
booster,
credit.
getting that credit
Mm-hmm.
boost.
Oh, I see. So
Before
they
Exactly.
can't make
Right.
uh,
purchases. You're
that's
saying
right.
they can't make purchases.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct. Yep.
I never
Yeah.
thought about
Oh.
it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's yep.
Ah.
Yeah. Because you're doing them a favor. You are helping them out. You're helping them out, and you're
Right.
not trying to give them a free ride to let them go and charge and go as you will. So when
Exactly.
you, yeah, when you call your bank,
Hmm.
when you call the credit card company, that's going to be the first thing that they ask for. They're going to ask for that person's name, their social, date of birth, and then they're going to ask for the address. And you should always tell them I want it to be mailed to my address. That way you know it's going to be in safe hands because you trust yourself. But other people, can't always trust them to do the right thing. We would like to hope that we could, but that's not always the case.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Mhm.
So those are the keys, people. And I know I repeat stuff a lot, but that's the point of our show right here is to give out information. And I'm sorry if I'm driving it home too much, but I feel like for someone like me, the more I hear it is the more I remember it.
Yeah.
So I want to say it again.
Mhm.
Um, if you are going to allow someone to be an authorized user on your credit card, do
Hmm.
not send the card. You're not sending the card to them so that they can blow it out of space or blow it out to space. You know, they're not
Hmm.
using it. You're allowing them to build their credit score just by being on your card. But make sure that you're also responsible enough to pay your bill on time, because you don't want to destroy their credit either. You know, so it
Right.
just takes two responsible people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is
You
definitely
not
key.
you
Definitely
not
being
can't go to
responsible.
Victoria's Secret and buy half a bra.
Nope, you ain't coming on my credit card, honey. You are not going to be my authorized user.
No,
Because
ma'am.
you're going to
Not,
be
not at
buying
all.
your Michael Kors
I'll be
and
like,
Victoria's
listen, I
Secrets.
got Carol's credit card. I'm going, okay.
Uh,
But
Nope,
that's,
Carol,
but that's a good
Carol said not on her watch. Carol said not
nope,
on her watch.
not on my watch.
that's a good point that Deshonda made, because I had never thought of it that way. That yes, you can put them on your card, but you don't have to give them the card.
And that's
Hmm.
where I made a mistake, because I allowed the card to be used, and I was like, I didn't know that.
That's
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that's always very, very that's very important because like I said, everyone's is not always will not always treat your personal things. That's like putting your basically loaning your car to someone. They may not always treat your car how they would treat their car. So that's how we need to think about it, because credit is so important, especially during these times where you need credit for almost everything. They do background checks for jobs, and they
yeah.
do background checks, for homes and
Every,
apartments and cars, just everything. So
yeah.
you just want to make sure that you are in a good place in regards to being in regards to being responsible for your credit score. So protect it just like you would protect yourself.
Okay.
Excellent.
Good point.
Okay.
Good point. Thank you, Mr. Shonda.
You're more than welcome. So I would say also then the next key would be, after, if you've gotten that secure card, or maybe, you may have applied for a secure card and maybe you have been denied. I do have a few secure cards that I know definitely that my clients they are approved for. Even if your score is in the low 400s, you can still be approved for. Discover has also great secure cards, but then also talk with your bank or talk with your maybe your credit union, right? So they may have some good options that are available for you. But definitely know what you can afford. I always tell my clients that get a secure credit card, get no more than $200 a month, because you're just going to get
Okay.
that to boost your score. So get that no more than $200 a month and charge no more than 30% on a monthly basis. That 30% is key, because if you get that credit card and you're maxing it out, and you're thinking, okay, well, I have a secure card. Well, it's not going to do you any benefit. It's going to drop your score actually if you go over that 30%. So that's another thing that a lot of people need to be aware of when it comes to secure cards and secure cards and credit cards. So if you have a credit card, making sure that that balance is low. I try to keep mine sometimes at 10%, to be honest, and I use them for maybe emergencies or for gas, or maybe for a internet bill, something that you're still going to use it, but you're also making sure that um, you're not going over that 30% threshold, or you're not going over the credit limit.
Right.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Excellent. So there you go, people. Make sure that your credit card, whatever you're using, keep it like maybe around $200. And at whether it's $200 or whatever, I think the standard is for credit card usage to keep your credit standing in good standing. Your credit card numbers in good standing is the 30% rate. I think that's the standard across the board, right? It's at 30% usage rate.
Which I learned that
Oh,
recently.
yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
We learned a lot of things.
yeah, I used to pay them off. I'm like, okay, I'm paid it full and whatever. So I'll whatever. That's good. I heard it's
Yeah. Yeah, and then you'll notice too, right? So I don't know. I've had a friend that recently paid their credit down and they noticed a big increase in their credit score. And they're like, oh my goodness, no one ever told me to keep it under 30%. Well, that's important. So you'll notice where your score goes up, because a lot of people just come to me for, just basic questions, the free consultations, like what can I do? So I have great credit. So it's not that I, need the services, but what can I do to give myself those boosters? So there are lots of great boosters out there that you can use to get your score, where you need it to be if you're trying to get it boosted up a few points, or maybe you're trying to get a better interest rate for, a car or a house.
Excellent.
Mhm.
And just to put some
Absolutely.
numbers for everybody, I don't know if people care, but because I care, I'm thinking maybe there's one other person in the world like me that might care. that
Carols,
that what?
two carols,
Two carols. You can't deal
Mhm.
with that, Reese. What you gotta say? You can't deal with two carols in the world.
girl.
Mhm.
But we know how you care about we know how you're very passionate when it comes on to these things. So go ahead
Mhm.
and with numbers.
Yes, yes, yes. You know me very well. I'm not doing the Michael Kors like you, so I want to know. I want the details.
Yes, yes.
I am, but you got to do it in limits. You gotta
You
know.
know?
Take your time. Got to
Yeah.
live one little right.
I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum. This is me over here, and this is Reese all the way over there, and somewhere in the middle probably is Kim.
Give me
But we're like this.
Reese says she's gonna live her best life.
I got
Reese is
them.
gonna live
Yes,
her best life.
yes, yes.
Listen,
Gotta love
I'm
it.
over there by Carol. I'm not. No, no Michael Kors. Leave Reese by herself with the Michael
So
Kors business.
Reese is
and
gonna do
ask me if I
Victoria's
have one.
Secret. She's gonna do
A-
Michael Kors. She's gonna do it all.
Listen, ask me if I own a Michael Kors. Nope, I don't own a Michael.
I'm only following Carol.
Oh,
Listen, she was the one who talked about her
that
Michael
says
Kors and
that
this and
says a
that.
lot. Okay, Kim fella, I got some work to
Cause,
do this year.
Cause
Goal
Kim is
setting.
smart. Kim is smart. She knows what she's doing.
It say,
Oh
let me
my
play it
goodness.
safe. Let me play it safe and go on Carrot side.
See,
Oh my God. Okay,
Listen,
come back
so you
out
know
there.
what? We throw you under the bus every week, Reese.
No,
I know. God knows. Jesus.
no,
I don't think we're nice.
but it's real talk. It's real talk when I said the back of course. So go ahead with the numbers.
Oh God.
So I'm sorry. Let me control myself because she gonna have me cracking up. But
Yeah, it's okay.
No, so good information.
Yeah.
It's good to know. So you said under 30% or 30%?
I say under 30% just
Under
to be on the safe
30%.
side.
So let me
Yes, ma'am.
Shonda, let
Um,
me ask you something real quick. So
sure.
you're saying say for instance my limit is $1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your statement comes to tell you to pay the minimum, but you're not gonna pay the minimum. You're saying that every month we should have the balance at 30% or
So
pay.
I would say the key is if you want to drive your score up, I would say if you're going to make that charge on that credit card, definitely keep it under 30%, but pay it off every month if you can,
Okay.
because you don't want that interest, those interest fees to be added. And then what if it takes you over that 30%?
Okay.
But don't pay it on the due date. You want to pay it by the statement
Statement
date.
date. That
Pay it by the
Okay.
statement date that's going to report to your credit bureau. That's key, which a lot of people do not know. Find out what your statement date is on all of your credit cards and then pay on your statement date, not by the due date. Because by then, your balance may be a little bit higher. So that's key. That's something I had to learn years and years ago. And I'm like, wait, nobody ever told me that. Well, that's a little trick that the credit bureaus really don't really teach you or that you don't
Yeah.
know. So yeah. Mhm.
Well,
That's a
Sandra,
good point.
let me ask you something really quick. Sorry, Carol. If the limit is the $200 card, so you're saying
Mhm.
spend between the balance of spend the amount of $50 to $60 that runs around 30%.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Correct. Uh-huh. And then,
Okay.
if you want to see that the score constantly go up, pay it off every month. So
Okay.
don't leave a lingering balance. Some people are like, oh, well, I'm going to leave a lingering balance. It's not going to hurt you to pay it off every month. Matter of fact, it's going to help you. So
Okay,
yeah,
so on that statement date, when it comes in and you charge the $50 on the statement date, you paid the $50.
yes, madam
Gotcha, gotcha.
That's
Thank you, dear.
exactly, that's what I was saying before. There has to be, so see, there is another Carol here. That was Kim, because that was the
Ah,
that I was going to mention. I need actual numbers and not just the
exactly.
percentage. It's nice to know the percentage so we can calculate it, because depending on the balance, it could be 400, 500, 600, whatever. And you
hmm
need to know that you should be at 30% of whatever that number is. But since
Hmm.
we're talking about $200, which Deshandra recommended, 30% of that $200 is around $60, right?
Yes, it
So
right,
is.
you want to
right.
be spending
Right. So it needs
$60 or less.
exactly.
It's $60. If it's 30%, it's $60. But if she says go under $60, you pretty much better do like $50. That'll take you
Right.
under the 30%.
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah. I keep mine, honestly, I keep mine at 10%, but I know that a lot of people, some people actually need these credit cards, right? So maybe they need it for whatever reason. Maybe if you need it for gas, or maybe you need it for, to buy maybe some groceries or something from the store. So whatever it is, just try to keep it under that 30% to keep your
Under the
credit score.
30%.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the main key. Okay, okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
dear.
You're
So try
welcome.
to keep it under that, everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
that will help your score to go up, 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 and you'll see it improving. And I've seen it on my credit report. So I can attest to that, the fact that it does work.
And then
Mm-hmm.
also on the credit report, I don't know if you guys see it, they give you like a simulator. Like they would tell you if you pay this bill, you get this is approximately how many points your credit will be increased. You have
Where did you see that at?
uh,
Where?
is annual report? No, Experian.
I
Experian.
was going to ask you, is it on the
Experian.
Experian.com?
Yes.
On the one? Okay.
They will tell you if you pay this, this is how much your score will go up to. By
I'm going to look at it
Mm,
again.
yeah.
Thanks for sharing, hon.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if
All
Deshaun
right.
ever came across that, but I've seen it.
Yeah, yeah. My one of my clients, she has I think it's a premier bank secure credit card. And so one day she called me, she was like, oh, look, it says if I pay this amount by this date, this is what my score would go up to. So yeah, so we had a talk. Unfortunately, I've never seen that with one of my credit cards. I don't know. Maybe I haven't, I don't know. Maybe I need to look to see. But yeah, that will definitely, that's helpful,
Yeah.
especially if you're trying to get your score to maybe a certain place to be able to purchase a house. So,
Right. Right.
And this
mhm.
cards that
Um,
you were saying, Sandra, that is really good. The secured cards, you said Discover was one.
I didn't
And
even
of
know
course,
that
asking
had
your
one.
bank.
Yeah, so you can we have with my company, I have Premier Bank is one. I've had clients be approved for Discover. Discover is great, right? So if you use it for a year with good payment history, I think after a year and a half, they're gonna actually offer you a real, not that it's not a real credit card, but actually an account that's not a credit card that's not a secure credit
That's
card.
not secured.
Meaning, yeah, your real credit
Hmm.
card basically. So that's always a good thing. I think that Discover is a really good credit card to have. I
Oh,
kind of shy away from Capital One, to be honest, because I feel like their interest rates are very high. I know that a lot of people have them, but I feel like their interest rates are extremely high,
But they
and
don't give
especially if
yes.
they're
too much
making
to them.
charges. I do not like Capital One.
Yeah, I've had interest rate with them as high almost as like 20 something percent in
Jeez.
their interest,
Mhm.
at 20 something percent with them. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty, they're very high,
I didn't even
ridiculous.
know that Discover had a prepaid. I mean, a secured credit card.
Yes, so what you can do is if anyone, is looking to get that card, you can just Google Discover secure credit card, and that's how you would find that information. So Google
Okay.
I didn't
Discover
know they
and
had.
secure card.
And
I didn't know they had one either. Many years ago, I had one of their regular credit cards. Oh my God, that was like maybe. Oh my God,
and Discover is not
that
easy
was a long
to get.
time ago.
So
Mhm.
what is
But
considered, Deshonda, a secure credit card?
So that secure is when you're going to be actually using your own money to basically finance your credit. So that's the key. With regular credit cards, of course, that bank is quote unquote loaning you money. The secure credit
Mm-hmm.
card is where you're actually going to put money up front from either your checking account or your savings account. So that's
Ah.
why I tell people, some people feel like they can't afford it. Some of my clients, and I tell them, hey, you don't need, a lot of money. The key is what I want to at least get you started. So that's why I try to do the 200. Now, if you can afford more, then do more. But I think
Mm.
200 is definitely a solid, a good amount to use.
I have a
But that's the key. I'm sorry, Reese, don't forget your thought, please. That's the key right there with the secure credit card, people. That is your money that you're putting up. You're not
Mhm.
borrowing money from a bank, which is what most of us are used to doing on regular credit cards. You're going based off their interest rate. You're going to them and saying, please give me some money to use. Please lend me some money at this high interest. But with the secure credit card, and I just wanted to clarify that for everybody in case people are not really aware of that. It's a new year. We want to educate you on all these things. The secure credit card, keep it at a manageable level, whatever you can
Mhm.
manage. Like Deshonda said, maybe it's $200, maybe it's $100, just to establish your credit. Be safe with it, but it is your money that you're putting up.
Mhm.
Okay.
Right, right. So yeah,
Done. How,
that's
how,
key.
how many credit cards do you think a person should have?
Reese, why?
I'm in the middle of a Zoom
How many
call
you
right now,
have?
Well,
Zoom
no,
I'm
meeting right
no,
now, so I can't
you know
talk right
why?
now.
Because
What is this about?
So,
Anyway?
Kim, can you
I'm
put
sorry.
your thing on mute? Mute
Yes, I'm.
your stuff,
I
please.
did it. I mute her. I mute her. You're
Okay.
yeah. You know why? Because is that a crazy question, or it doesn't affect you how many cards
It's
you have?
it's not a crazy question. I just wanted to put it back on you.
Uh,
How many cars you got, Reese?
Right. Tell us
Hmm.
what you got going on over
Tell
there.
us what you got in your purse.
I,
How many?
I see people with the Target card, the JC Penny card, this card, all these cards, and I'm like, does it affect having too many credit cards affect your credit, or it doesn't do anything?
You definitely so you don't want to have too many credit cards, and I'm totally guilty of that, right? So I used to have a lot of credit cards because growing up I saw my grandma with a lot of credit cards. I mean, she had them all from Target to JC Penney's to Sears,
Yeah,
regular credit cards, Walmart. I mean, it was pretty awful. And so, in my mind I thought, well, I'm gonna give myself a lot of credit cards. I would say, now that I've gotten older, I do have two regular credit cards. I have um one with my credit union, one with my bank. So I have two credit cards, and then you guys may think this is very funny because I know that a lot of people my age don't really have credit cards with Sears, but I do have a Sears credit card.
first of all,
So
they still have Sears.
yes, they do. But
Uh,
my friends, they're like, "Oh my goodness, I cannot believe you have a Sears credit card." I do. I love Sears, and I think again, growing up with my granny, but I would definitely say maybe two credit cards at the most. Um, and that is probably my only store credit card that I have is Sears.
okay,
No, I'm sorry, I lied. I have Home Depot. When I bought my house a few years ago, I got Home Depot, which is great,
yeah,
especially if we're going to be doing projects around the house.
yeah, definitely.
Mhm. Yeah, but try not to, as it's tempting as it can be, especially during the holidays. Oh my goodness. During the holidays, they offer you all kind of incentives, right? So they're like, oh, okay, well, if you apply for a credit card, you can get 50% off your purchase or 20% off your purchase. And I know Old Navy's really good for it, but the key is to resist temptation. To resist it. Get yourself two credit cards and then maybe one store credit card, and resist the urge and temptation to get a credit card, especially if you know you don't need it.
I have two credit cards right now, but I don't want. Listen, I'm trying with those. I'm doing
You
good.
trying,
I'm
you
doing
try really
good.
hard.
I'm doing good. And then
Okay.
when I go to the store, do you want to fill out? I'm like, lady, if you only know, if I have a credit card, I'll go
Are
get.
you trying where your hand is actually slowly reaching to the register?
Oh
You
my
tap your
god!
other hand and put it down.
Let me tell you, my weakness. My weakness. My weakness is Marshalls and Home Goods. Oh my god!
Oh Lord,
Really?
Reese.
I,
So
Really?
you know what? I'm glad you said that because there are a lot of people out there like you, Reese.
when they
There are
say,
a lot of
do you
people.
want a credit card? I'm like, lady, keep the card right there. And another place that used to be like that was Learners. I don't know if you guys know about Learners. New
Absolutely.
York and Company. They call it New. Listen, I used to shop in there so much. I got a second job in there. Okay,
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
I went
Wow.
job, and I'm telling you, they used to ask me, "Do you want a card?" No.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
Reese, don't feel ashamed. I love to shop at Ross. So if Ross had a credit card, I probably would have had one years ago. I absolutely love them. But like I said, now I've learned because having my Sears credit card, I've had it for about 17 years now.
Jesus.
And
Seven-
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm 38, so I've had about 17 years now, and I did not realize how high the interest rate was. I think that we get it sometimes because they promise us those incentives, right?
Yeah.
The discounts and different things. But when I got it, I did not realize, and I called them and I asked to have them to reduce the interest because I'm a good client and I know they have excellent credit. They refused. So what I did was I just paid it completely off. But my interest rate with that Sears credit card, I think it's ridiculous, but it's 20, I think now it's about 27%. Ridiculous.
What's
Ridiculous.
what Sears is good for appliances.
It is good, but I mean, I have my Home Depot card now, so
True.
I'm just like, yeah,
Well,
I remember when Sears was
well,
back in the day, Sears was like a Walmart back then.
yeah, yeah.
You know, and
yeah.
Sears is like top one of those top stores. But yeah, that's
Yeah, definitely. But there are a whole lot of people out there, and I want to talk to the people out there who do have this tendency to collect. I would say collect because I don't know, you guys are collectors. I cannot,
Mhm.
I can't affiliate with you guys. I don't get it because I'm not one of those people that have multiple cards. I'm very
I only
strategic
have
with
two.
I'm
Mhm.
very strategic with, doing stuff like that. So, but there are many, many people who can relate to that.
Yeah.
And for all of those folks who have to, sometimes you can definitely, I think that's what Deshonda was saying, you can have too many cards, people, and then you get in
Mhm.
a hole and then you can't pay them all back, for whatever you're taking on them. You have to remember this is not free money. It's
But
money
you
that
have
you have to
people
pay
that
Right.
back.
but you have people I've heard people say that they live off of the credit cards. Like
Yeah.
they live off of
What do
it.
you say to those people,
Yeah.
Deshonda, that come here we are in 2021, and I'm trying to give some viable, sound advice to people in 2021. If you're living off of your credit cards, and this is not to judge anybody's financial
Mhm.
situations at all. We're not judging. We're just wanting to give you some advice. What do you say to those folks who say they're living off of their credit cards?
Yeah, so I agree, no judgment at all, but if you can all help it, definitely try not to live off your credit cards because the first thing, Carol, like you said, it's not free money. You will have to pay those cards back. And unfortunately, it can start from something, a small balance, and it can spiral out of control before you know it. I think that's key to know. And that was something that I was never taught, especially with having those Capital One credit cards. But try it all at possible to not live off of your credit cards. And as tempting as it can be, to maybe purchase something here, but only purchase what you can afford to pay back, especially with during this time and this season. What's going on with the COVID. If you can help it, because you know people lose their job, people get laid off, different things happen. So yeah, definitely try not to live off those credit cards if all at possible. See what other options you have that are available for you. Maybe see if you could maybe purchase, or maybe see if you can maybe borrow money from a family member, or maybe to see if maybe you can get finance for maybe a small loan through your bank. But definitely see what other options are available for you first before you let your credit card be the answer to paying whatever it is that you're trying to charge. It To me, it's definitely not worth it. And again, I'm speaking from being there, trying to purchase things just because, or purchasing things because I had to do it. Yeah, it's not worth it. In the long run, you'll pay.
Right. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I,
Excellent. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carol. I just want to interject this. So, I don't want anyone to think that I'm knocking credit cards, because there are definitely some goods. Um, there's some pros and cons, right, to having a credit card. So the cons are, or the pros are, I should say, is a lot of credit cards have rewards. So they
Yeah.
offer rewards. the thing that I do, I save up my rewards or my points from actually using your credit card. A month ago or so, I was able to use those rewards to purchase my ticket back home from Atlanta, my flight. So that was about $80 I was able to keep in my pocket. I bought myself
Mhm.
a nice little fancy air fryer. So I'm so happy I get
There
to
you
use
go.
it. So yeah, so
Love
there's
it, love it.
great pros that you have with using your credit card, but the key is to use it responsibly if you're going to use it. So I just
Right.
wanted to interject that.
There you go. See, Reese, you don't have to buy Michael Kors that you can't take anywhere with you anyway, because we're in the house. Get an air fryer that can actually cook for you every day.
Yes,
Hey, I'm
Reese.
buying my first Michael Kors. I'm gonna come show y'all. We gonna have an open.
You
Oh my
can't go nowhere to show off the Michael Kors.
I'm going
Oh
from the
no.
bedroom to the living room to the front yard. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Hey, that's going somewhere.
But
yeah.
oh my God.
Oh my
But
goodness.
Deshauna, that was
So
good information right there.
Thank
Terrific. Yeah.
you.
excellent. Excellent. And that's for everybody. Here we are. We're seriously trying to help you going into 2021. And when I say help you, all of us are included
Mm-hmm.
with all these plannings that we need to do. Sit down, really make a serious plan. And just to reiterate, some of the advice that Deshonda gave us, Deshonda, if you could just come back and boil it down. I like to boil things down to a nice, we talked about a lot. So just to
Mhm.
make sure that people have the relevant takeaways is one,
Absolutely.
when you're trying to correct your credit this year, 2021, folks, if you don't know how to go about doing that, the first thing you want to do is get a credit report to start. Take a look at it. That's the
Mhm.
first step you need to do is get a credit report. And as Deshonda told us, we can, and hopefully everybody, you've had a chance to get a pen and paper. You write this down. I love writing down stuff because I can go back to it and I won't forget it. If I just hear stuff, it'll be gone after the conversation is over. So write this down and you can go to annualcreditreport.com to get your credit report from the government, and it is free.
Mhm.
Okay, it is free for you all to get this. It's called annualcreditreport.com.
And you can get
Go there.
just remember to tell them you can get it weekly until March. I just put it up there. You can actually pull it weekly for free, your weekly report until
Okay.
March. I'll tell you the date, but go ahead.
Oh, they're still doing that.
Yeah,
Reese, from last
Yes.
year. Remember last week we
yes,
were start. Okay.
they're still doing it
Mhm.
until
Oh
March.
wow.
I'm going to tell you the date. Yes.
Okay, and while Larisi is looking for that, that falls right into our discussion. What we're having today, it's about planning, right? Goal planning,
Mhm.
goal
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
setting. This is happening straight up until March. So for the first quarter of 2021, this is one of your goals, people. Set this
Mm-hmm.
as one of your goals is to go out there and get that credit report. Okay,
Right.
and it is available up until March. When
So
Reese is going to tell us the date in a
April,
minute.
April 2021.
Awesome.
You,
Awesome.
it says,
April 2021.
let me read it. It says, during these times of COVID-19, accessing your credit is important. That's why Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion are now offering free weekly online reports through April 2021. And you can go on annualcreditreport.com and you'll,
Mhm.
yes.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah.
Excellent
Thank you. Thank you
information.
for that, Reese. And I'll repost that later also on
Thanks.
my page as well. Good stuff. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
Yes,
fabulous.
yes. That's the big key for 2021, everybody. Set that as your first
That's
quarter
right.
goal. First quarter of the year,
Yes.
quarter meaning every 3 months. You know, we've got 4 quarters in the year because we have 12 months. So the first quarter is January, February, March, and you have until April to do this. So get it done, write it down in your planners, in your notebooks, or wherever. Stick it on the wall on a piece of paper, put a post it note or something to remind, we're going to chat about that in a minute, and Reese, because I know you're chomping at the bits to talk about that too. So
Mhm.
we're going to talk about that, and whatever you need to do so that you can see it and make it a goal for 2021, not a resolution or whatever. Make it your goal. And when you make it your
Mhm.
goal, you will make it your business to get this done. Get your credit report, take a look at it, understand what is in it. And if it doesn't look like you, meaning if it looks like there's someone else
Mhm.
manipulating it, you need to reach out to someone like Deshonda and
Yep.
get it fixed.
Because there's also duplicates on there, which I realized when I pulled mine. You have duplicates, right,
Okay.
Desonda?
Yeah.
You have
Yes, yes,
duplicates.
that is correct. Yeah, those duplicates definitely sometimes hospitals are notorious for doing that with their bills. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. Sometimes credit card companies, they will post it two different ways. One will show as a charge off, and then one
Yes.
will show, not as a charge off, it will show that it's delinquent. So you definitely want to, I would say, what I had to do with one of my clients, what I did was I got a highlighter. And I
Hmm.
think this is key. You start from your name, your personal information. Start with your name first. See if those are names that you go by.
Right.
Make sure the spelling is correct. Once you look at the names, then look at the phone numbers. Make sure those are correct. Then look at the addresses. You'll know if, hey, this address, if it says Texas and you've only lived in Florida in all of your life, that's a red flag. You
Right.
know,
Mm,
so then highlight that. Then once you have gone through your personal information, then the next key is to start with your credit, the items that are listed on your credit. Also look at your inquiries as well too, because inquiries happen when you apply for credit. So if you see an
Mm-hmm.
inquiry on your credit for something like, I don't know, Sears, and you haven't shopped there, if you've never had a Sears card, then that would be key to say, okay, you know what, maybe somebody's been trying to use my credit. Then once you've looked at those inquiries, then next look at those items that are posted on your credit report. Look at the
mm,
things like your car payment, if you have a car payment or a car loan. So start there. Then make sure that the payments are posted correctly. Make sure that if you're paying payments on time, it may show that you have a late payment. And if you know that you never had a late payment, highlight that. So that way you're going piece by piece, you're breaking it down, because a lot of people don't know how to read credit reports. And I tell them it's not hard, it's just taking it step by step by step by step.
I had an instance with my credit card. They closed my account. I was like, I
Mm,
asked you to close my account. They were like something because they mailed my. I asked for a duplicate replacement card. The
hmm.
card came back to them because they wrote the wrong address.
Yeah.
Right. So they apparently they said they closed it. So I had to do a whole bunch of things to tell them, listen, I didn't ask for it to be closed because it was affecting
Hmm.
negatively on my account. But it's
Absolutely.
so right. So they went ahead and they fixed it. But all of that, I didn't even know that them sending it to the wrong to an address and it comes back to them, they're gonna close it without even calling me
mm.
to find out what's going. So
Wow.
yeah, and then I found
Yeah.
a
Wow, that
student
is
loan,
messed up.
then a student
Yeah.
loan that is as paid as agreed on one is coming up that I owe on another. And I'm like, how am I? It's it's in how is it in default on one
Hmm.
report and the other one is saying paid as agreed. I'm
Hmm.
you really have to fine tune all three.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Excellent.
Reese,
And
you
then,
sound like a pro.
you may
yeah, right.
you may have to hire me, honey.
I
Yeah.
might, honey. I might need an assistant. I got you. I got
That's
you.
right. An assistant with her Michael Kors bag and all the other stuff that she coming with, all fancy assistant. Yes.
Oh,
Just messing with you, Reese. All right. And so then also, um, after you know what's on your credit report, another option could be, people, write this down, get you a secure credit card. Okay. And Deshonda gave us the whole full rundown already on what the secure credit card is. This is, you're the one paying for this. It's not like a bank giving you a credit card. This is your own money, and it helps your credit. You can also you can become an authorized user on someone else's credit card, or to help boost your credit score. All right, but be responsible when you're paying for the whatever the payments are, if
Mhm.
you're allowed to use the card, or if you want to be an authorized user on someone else's card, make sure that that person is responsible enough and they are paying their credit card, because they will drag you down with them.
That
Okay.
is true.
The other thing that Deshonda shared with us, I'm just going back over the main points that you were so wonderful enough to give us today. And I'm just reiterating it for people who are taking notes. You don't want to charge more than 30% of your charges per month.
Mhm.
So if you have a credit card of $200, stay under 30% of that, which
Mm-hmm.
is around is under $60. Okay, if you want the
Mhm.
dollar amount and not just the percentage, that means under $60 out of that $200 that you are using on a monthly basis. All right, and that helps your credit score to go up, 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 up. And I think I got the main points right, Deshonda, that you wanted to like highlight with everybody today.
Yes, so I wanted to throw one more thing in. So besides the secure credit card option that's available, there's also an option. I'm not sure if I talked about this the last time I was on, was that self builder loan.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's
I'm on that.
great. Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of my clients now are starting to use that self builder loan. You guys can look it up on YouTube. It's also a lot of people. There's a lot of free credit repair groups on Facebook. Let me also throw that out as well. If you put in the search box on Facebook, you can type in credit repair groups or just credit repair. There are so many great free credit repair groups that will help you, get the information that you need. So that's more so for people that are looking to repair their credit themselves. There are dispute letters. There are people in there that will, help you at no cost. Some may charge you a little something if you're wanting them to put the letters together, but there are lots of free credit repair groups on Facebook. And so a lot of things that they drive in would be this self-builder loan. The self-builder loan is where you're actually taking money. You elect a certain amount that you want to pay off in regards to your term or your loan. You're paying that every month into that specific account. So you're going to pay it every month, every whatever date it is that you choose. You're paying that money into that particular loan. That loan is going to be held into an interest bearing account. Once that loan is held into an interest bearing account, it's going to report to all three credit bureaus. So your Equifax, your Experian, and your TransUnion. And as long as you're paying on time, I promise you, most people have seen within
Yeah.
the first 2 months a 50 to 100 point, oh, I would say maybe 2 to 3 months, almost a 50 to close to 100 point jump with that self-builder loan.
Are you serious?
So
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well,
Because I'm going on my third month and they're offering me, they said I'm like 82% away from I forgot how much percent in getting a credit card from them.
Nice,
And
Kimberly. So that means you're doing good with your payments.
mm-hmm.
I'm on
Good.
So I was like, really, I just looked at that last night.
I just started with
Awesome.
them. Somebody told me about it, and I just started with them. So I didn't
Mhm.
know that 50.
Yeah, this month will be the third month, the third payment that I made with them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
awesome.
I like how
I have not heard of it.
people are trying
No,
to get the credit.
it's called Self Lender,
Hmm.
I like the fact
Okay.
that people,
Carol.
we're trying to
Oh, okay.
we're trying to get our credit fixed because we need to.
Well, this is great. This was great for the new year. Sorry, Risa, to cut you off, but this was great that you brought the Sandra on for the beginning part of this year, because this is a great
Yes.
way of getting everything started. So I love this segment. I always love the credit part anyway, especially since, things that I'm trying to do also too as well. I've learned so much and started doing things from last year going into now into the new year and everything like that. So this is really, really great to get this
Yeah.
information for everyone. So this is a great way to start the new year
But
off and everything.
Yeah.
So good.
at the end of the day, if you have a business or just being or personal, you need credit. That's the bottom line.
That's
Hmm.
it.
Nothing that you do, in,
Hmm.
and everything that you do is going to require credit.
That's
Basically,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it all
Absolutely.
falls back to saying this anything, and this is, I've learned this from in the past, and this is one of the reasons why, of course, I wanted to Desandra to take it really, really serious, because it's very frustrating when you're going to get something and you want
Mhm.
something and everybody's telling you, oh, that stupid face. Well,
Yeah.
I don't, I just don't like I kept saying to myself, I don't want to keep hearing that, and if
Yes.
I have a business, I own a spa and salon, I should be able to have the things that I want in here for my clients and everything like that too as well. So everything revolves right on your credit. It doesn't matter. When your credit is up to par,
Mhm.
you get basically anything. You
Anything.
don't have to use so much money out of your pocket and all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it definitely is important. This is A1. A1.
Very
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely
Excellent.
right, Sam, because a lot of people, I've had people to come to me as far as for credit repair, and they have money, but they don't have the
Hmm.
credit, and it's one thing for you to have the money and you don't have the credit where you're still not going to be approved. And like you said, credit is it's just so, so important.
And it is. And
Um,
just so people who run around who think it's sorry to sound to cut you, but just
no,
because,
you're good.
and I learned this too also, people who think that they have the money, I learned that
Mhm,
also too. It's not the money. If they look at your
mhm.
credit, even if you have 10, $15,000 to put
Nope,
down, whatever, if they look at that credit, they're still not going to approve
they're
you.
not gonna do it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And
I
Unless
learned that the
unless
hard
you're
way. Trust me.
buying unless you're buying full cash, like if
If
you're
you're buying
buying a
full
house
cash,
for
maybe a different story.
500,000 and you go in with your bag of money, a bag of $5,000 in your Michael Kors bag that you can plop down on their
Mm.
desk and say, "Here's my 500,000 in
And they
cash,"
can't say nothing. It's true.
then they can't
Yeah,
say
yeah,
no,
anything.
seriously.
Money
If you're
talk.
not paying it in
So,
full, they're not gonna say, you're not saying anything to them, so they don't want to hear anything.
right,
But if you're talking about, you want to think that
exactly.
you're gonna give them a half a down payment of $10,000, and
Yes.
you think because that's enough money that you think that you want to bring in there, you're not gonna say nothing to them. 'Cause I gotta tell you, go, please
Yeah.
leave.
Even if your purchase is 20,000 and you're giving them 10,000, half of it in cash, it doesn't matter because they
Doesn't
still
matter.
don't know how they're going to get the other 10,000
That's
from you.
right. That's
So
right.
they're not going to trust you.
Somebody
Yep.
So
doesn't
with that, I want to thank Deshonda so, so much. I knew she was busy today and she made the
Awesome.
time to come on here and we just sat here and talked her ear off. So
Well,
I
I got in and
appreciate
I
you.
got in for the last little bit. Sorry, Carol. But Sandra, I got a lot of information, a lot of notes from information, as you can see, with the stuff that you
Mhm.
told me. So I think that's valuable, really valuable to me. So I think you gave a lot. So I can just imagine what you gave in the beginning part of the show.
No, thank you. And
Absolutely.
I love what you guys are doing. You ladies are doing. I so appreciate it. I
Awesome.
appreciate,
Thank you.
you guys getting, bringing me on again for a second time to be able to talk to people. It's what I love to do. So I don't mind. Feel free to ask me anytime. I don't mind. Sorry. Today was a little
Fabulous.
bit of a different day
Fabulous.
today. But no, I appreciate you guys again. It's, helping build everyone because credit, like you said, it's just definitely so, so important whether you're trying to buy, refinance. I just recently refinanced my home, and it's not because of the payment. I just wanted to lower my interest rate. And then
Hmm.
Yeah.
real quick, we're going to go in and pull your credit. And I was able to save a little bit more money. And so that's why credit is so, so important no matter
So
what.
important.
It's just important. And the more I think that, we talk about this, you guys talk about this, other people talk about it, you share it with your friends, family members, then people can understand it. It begins to kind of drive in home, if you will, in their mind to say, okay, you know what? Maybe I do need to get my credit. And after so many no's, something's going to click in your mind. I should hope that you would think to say, you know what? Let me sit down and try to work on my credit, whether it's
Exactly.
someone to do it or join some of these free groups. Because
There you
now
go.
there's so much free information. You have no choice but at least to try
Exactly.
to get yourself good, to have a decent credit score, if all it possible.
Yeah.
That's true.
And unfortunately, the truth is, and we're all black and brown on this show. So the unfortunate thing is our black and brown communities don't always have a full understanding of what that is and what
Absolutely.
credit really means
Hmm. That's
Hmm.
and
true.
how they should be managing it. It's not just about getting money and, oh, I got my card, so I'm going to run out and I'm going to purchase this because I got a
No.
card so I can buy
Hmm.
it, But a lot of us
growing up as well, and the environment that a lot of us black and brown folks are coming from, they don't have the full picture and the full understanding of what that is. So we're going to continue to push that understanding and make sure that we provide as much education as possible for our black and brown people, for everybody. It doesn't
Right.
matter, white, black, brown, doesn't matter. But I'm saying, particularly the black and brown
Absolutely.
community, don't get
Yes.
that education on what it is. And that's what we're here for, to make sure that you know what this is. It is not free money. Don't run
Hmm.
around thinking that you got some free money to go buy all of this stuff.
Right.
That's
And
what
then you're in a hole and you can't get out.
that's what I
Absolutely.
mean when I was in college. You
Yeah,
Yep.
understand?
I
I said,
remember.
what? Yeah, oh no,
Exactly.
Hmm.
This is not free money
that's
that you have.
Absolutely.
And don't run around getting 5, 10, 6, 5, 6, 7, 10 credit cards from different department stores, this, that, the other. Then you
Right.
have 10, 15
free.
cards. You have to pay for those. And if you do not pay them, it destroys your credit. And later on, you end up having a child or a family or something. You are stuck.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So it just drops you in a deep hole, and you need to
Hmm.
understand how that works and really be responsible about learning about your credit history.
Hmm.
Just like Deshonda said, we're not going to go back over everything we just talked about, but this is the goal, people. The purpose of this show today was to make a goal for your credit. We did different segments. Right now, for the credit segment, make a goal, and that goal includes your understanding of your credit journey going forward. We can't, go back and undo things that we've done in the past, but we can repair
We
it
can.
going
Hmm.
forward. Okay. So this is what we're going to do right now. You're going to sit down with the tips we gave you today. I'm hoping that you guys had your little notebooks and your pen and paper, just like I did and Kimberly did. I don't know if you can see it. Take your
Yep.
notes,
I know you want.
look at it.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. Hopefully you guys had your little notebooks, and later on you can put it in your fancy apps or whatever it is that you want to
Yep.
do. But for now, while we were talking, we hope that you scribbled something, and if you got one thing out of it, then that's what we're here for. We're happy. If you got one
Absolutely.
thing, okay, write it down and work on it. And like we said, you can get the free credit report on a weekly basis up until April 2021. So make this your first quarter goal. I'm not even pressuring you guys to say you have to do this in the month of January. Nope, not going to say that. I'm
Hmm.
going to say be kind to yourself, and you
Right.
have the first quarter. Okay. We're not pressuring you too much, but be kind to yourself. Take the necessary steps and say, build up the courage, okay? And take the time in the first quarter then of 2021 to do this for yourselves. All right. So with that, Deshonda, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hugs, hugs, hugs. And happy 2021 to you. We wish you all the best as usual. You know you'll be back on the show because we just love chatting with you.
And make sure that you're listening to us even when you're not on the show, Miss Deshonda.
Absolutely, absolutely. I got to get you guys plugged in. I'm sorry. With the credit repair, I'm also doing notary. Then I just got a certification to do loan processing. So it's been a
Oh,
busy year, but
fabulous.
I will definitely
Fabulous.
make sure.
Another boss lady. We
Yes,
love the boss ladies on this
Fabulous. Love
show.
it.
Yes,
thank
Love
you
it.
yes,
guys.
yes,
Absolutely
indeed.
fabulous.
Absolutely. And we support you. We push you as much as possible. One thing I will ask you before you leave is, when you do get back, if you could write a testimonial on your page or on your social media to talk about your experience on the show, just chat about us so
Absolutely.
people know who we are, and it helps to support us as well. And then we can keep that as just a testimonial to let people know even more about the show and why they should be listening, because we want to tell everybody that we have people like you coming onto the show. And if they're not listening, they need to be listening.
Yes.
Absolutely. I will blow you guys up in just a second. I'm trying to get to 2,000 followers, but I'm going to blow you guys up in just a second. I'm going to put you on both of my pages, my personal page and my business page. And then, if you guys, do you ladies have a Facebook page as well?
Yeah, we do. We have
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
we have
go ahead and send
Instagram.
that to me. Definitely. Let me blow you up there too, because I have a lot. So I will a lot of followers or friends on Facebook. So I'm definitely gonna blow you guys up. And I will connect again, definitely. So
And
let me do this. Let me
and
put this into
also
activity.
we're on YouTube. So if there's a topic that you see on our YouTube that's interesting, you can
Mm,
actually watch the whole show.
The whole
nice.
episode is always posted on YouTube after. Sometimes we live stream the show here so people can go to the radio station at myturnradio.net and watch it. However, it is always after the show. The full episode is always posted on our YouTube channel, and it's the same everywhere. It is Let's Connect. That's the name
With a
of our
K.
show. Let's Connect. It is on with a K. It's on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. It's the same everywhere. Okay. So thank you, Deshonda. And again,
Awesome.
the name of
Thank
your
you so
company.
much.
Give out some info so people can hear you now and write it down again. How they find
Yes,
you.
yes, ma'am. So my business number is 407-966-3291. 407-966-3291. I do offer free 30-minute consultations in regards to credit repair questions that you may have. And then they can find me on Instagram at Second Chance Credit Repair. So that's second, the word second chance credit repair. I am also on Facebook. I had to change my name up a little bit on Facebook because my business name, it was coming up under I think someone else has this similar name. So on Facebook, I am Second Chance Credit Repair and Debt Solutions, comma LLC. So Second
Got
Chance
it.
Credit Repair and Debt Solutions. So I'm gonna blow you guys up. Give me a few seconds. I'm gonna tell everybody how great you guys have been to me with, promoting my business. You guys are great. Again, I really do love what you guys are doing. I love your personality. You ladies rock. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, thank
Thank
you,
you,
sweetie.
my dear.
Thank
We
you.
will chat with you very, very soon. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Thank you. Blessings to you guys as well for the new year.
All righty.
All
Thank you.
righty.
You too, love. You too.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
So, yes, we are rolling. This show and our Wednesdays are absolutely amazing.
It's a
What
highlight
we
of my
want to
life.
do, what we do here is so important. And we love it regardless. And we still keep pushing and we still keep plugging because the idea is to make sure everyone is educated. And here we are, 2021. Right now, I want to introduce another one of our fabulous, amazing guests. Okay. We're a talk show, people, so don't forget, we are still talking and we're
We
gonna
love
keep
talk.
talking.
We love chat. We love to talk.
So we're not playing music and all of this stuff. So you got to
Ah,
sit down and listen to us, okay? And if you go anywhere, take us in your headphones and whatever. Just take us with you because our job is to educate and uplift you. Here we are, 2021, people. We had the COVID in 2020. We still have it in 2021. A lot of people lost their jobs. What does that mean for the job market, right? Now we have our human resources extraordinaire on our show, Miss Sandra Wood, who's going to bring us up to speed because a lot of people, what do we need now? We might be looking for jobs, right? Where are we going to work? And I'm not picking my nose. I'm just rubbing my nose, people, because I got that comment before. Somebody said, "Why are you picking your nose?" I'm like, I'm not picking my nose. I'm just rubbing it because it's itchy. I
wow.
talk so much that it vibrates and my nose is itchy. So listen, I want to introduce Sandra Wood, our human resources expert on the show. She is at a very senior and executive level, but we just want to chat with her and get some tips. If you guys are looking for work in the new year, what does the HR landscape, what does the road ahead look like in terms of human resources right now? Welcome, Miss Sandra.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm just excited for you three ladies. It's been great seeing the shows every week and just hearing about how well people are enjoying the content and the topic. So thank you for having me again. Right
Yes.
now, things are so crazy. I know you've seen the news recently. There's so much going on,
Yep.
but there's goals that, as a candidate or someone who is looking for opportunities in the workforce that we can focus on. The landscape's changed quite a bit because we've all been privy to the pandemic. and all of the concerns about one's health and family. So a lot of the goals are different for people right now. People want to find, number one, joy in every day. They want to be able to enjoy what they're doing. No longer
Right.
are we stuck behind a desk in an office, typing away with our heads down. The work has to be meaningful. So I would definitely advise anyone looking for a job right now to make sure that work is joyous for you and it's meaningful, whatever that means to you. Also, use your resources. This is a great opportunity and a great platform to get information. Carol, you mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to look for people, if you don't have the knowledge and the skills directly for what you're doing or would like to do, use your resources, look to other people, link, use LinkedIn, engage with others to understand about what your interests are, and that's self-learning. So some people are I know you have had entrepreneurs on your show, self-made,
Yes.
self-taught,
Yeah.
and that self is not just them doing it all on their own, but they're using their network. So I would
Right.
encourage people to do that as one of their goals and be less resistant to the new way of working. This is a new day,
Okay.
y'all. People are
Yeah.
not looking to, again, do your typical day to day, go 9 to 5 and go home. Sometimes we have to think outside the box, do things, sometimes even on the side to really develop our craft or our passion. So you want to be less resistant. You may not like working remotely, but this is the world in which we're living in right now. Have to be able
Right.
Mm-hmm.
to be flexible and work remote. Maybe you
Right.
need internet access or you're not set up appropriately from a technology perspective. Some people might
Right.
have to take some courses. YouTube is free.
Yep.
Some platforms like yours are free. Use the information so that you can be flexible and appreciate the new ways of working. And this
Yay.
take advantage of some of the opportunities that exist, on these different platforms. So that's what I would say from an individual perspective. If you want to grow your career or you want to continue to, find your passion in the work world. Now, it's funny on the flip side, from an HR perspective, we have different goals because we're looking for candidates who are flexible, people that are agile, they're willing to learn. We're no longer looking for somebody who has the exact number of years of experience on a resume. It's really who's going to be able to think outside the box and use some of their, self-taught skills or be able to flex. Even the Googles of the world are not looking at people just with a degree, but they're looking for people who are experienced and passionate about what they're doing. So we're facing some new challenges as well. So our goals are a bit different this year than they've been in the past. So hopefully that gives you some insight. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
I know one.
I
I know
Go
one
ahead.
platform that is really doing things is Arise and Live Ops. They are
Yes.
um that's a good platform for people who are looking for a job.
Okay.
Arise
Arise.
and Live
Okay.
Ops, and they work for top-notch companies. It's not like a mom and pop.
Hmm.
You're not working for Carol's Tires. You're working for
Right.
Home Depot, the top cruise
So
line.
what kind of companies are those? If you can expound on that a little. What do you mean?
Those companies they'll get contracts from these companies like Home Depot, Princess Cruise Lines, these ADT, Barnes and Noble, right? And then
Okay.
outsource it to us in the public, but you're not an employee. You are 1099. You're
Okay.
Hmm.
so you
Okay.
So there's more
work.
consultant and contract opportunities out there more than ever. And that sounds like what you're talking about. We see organizations or companies that really do consultant work and look for opportunities,
Because really it's
for
customer service.
candidates.
Right, because I'm actually working with Arise, right? I work with Barnes and Noble, and as a customer service, you're taking calls, just like how you go in a call center,
Mm-hmm.
doing it
Mm-hmm.
from your home, taking calls.
Oh, I love that you said that. So everybody, I want to stop right there. I want to pause right there for a second. So everybody who is listening, this is such a big issue, and it's one of the reasons that also I wanted Sandra to come on and chat with us a little bit, because I know that in the past, this is probably something that everyone did not consider.
Right.
They didn't consider stuff like this. Now we have the pandemic and we're home, right? As Sandra just mentioned, this is a new day for us. It's a new way of working, a new way of thinking. So we're stuck at home. Many of us are, but we still need to pay our bills. We still need to have an income. And perhaps you can't get out to an office.
Right.
Now, in the past, you thought, you have to go into a 9 to 5, but here are so many companies now who are giving you the opportunity. So take the time to learn who some of these companies are and what some of these jobs are. And like both you and Sandra just mentioned, these are more contract and 1099 jobs, but you can earn an income
Yeah.
and pay your bills with these jobs, people working from home from reputable, and there's the key word, reputable companies.
It's big companies that you would think that.
Absolutely. Even like Amazon, to your
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
Amazon customer service, or you even USPS, the postal service, they have customer service representatives in their home, and websites like Indeed.com,
Yeah.
they're good sites for
But
more specific local opportunities, and you could literally type in work at home and find where those opportunities are local to you.
because
So definitely utilize that.
I've noticed even the local companies are hiring you to start working from home. They want they're local, but you can work from home. They're giving you that option. I guess because of
Right.
COVID, you know. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And
So
the landscape's changed in that way as well, with, like you said, where you see top companies on corporations, most of the roles are now posted as remote,
remote, yes.
which is different. And some of the topics we cover it as employers are, whether or not we should open it up, because when people are concerned about the vaccine and who's been, all of that's being discussed, people's well-being and their health and how we're going to manage them in the office.
But you
So they are preferring to start you out remote until they sort out some of these laws and policies that need to be thought through with the vaccine coming. So
you know what is so
really, really
funny?
good point.
Years ago, I'm talking about the 2012 or whatever. I started my virtual assistant company, right? And nobody was hearing of this virtual assistant. Oh no, it's not gonna work. Working from home. I remember I used to go to my boss and I was like, "Can I start working from home because of the kids?" And no, it's not gonna work because how is it gonna work when we need you to do this? And look at it now.
Yep.
Right.
Practically everybody is working from home, and they made it work. You
Yep.
know,
Exactly. That's the kicker. They made it
made it
work.
work.
There,
Work. They
Yeah,
made it
and
work.
prior to the COVID,
everybody.
everyone swore that it wouldn't work.
Yeah, they were like,
I
"What?"
remember when I was going to my 9 to 5, my boss would
Hold
never
on, babe.
want to hear anything about me working from home. It's like it's impossible. It
Yeah,
cannot happen. And now everybody's working from home. And guess what? It
it's
works.
working. Yep, yep. How
So
that was.
guess what else in human resources we're concerned about then as a result of that technology? Everybody's wanting to know, do you have internet service and the appropriate technology? The younger workforce, because they just require more flexibility to begin with, in terms of
Right.
the way they're used to working. Generation Z is a whole nother type of generation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then also, people that are seeking economic gain because, they're offering kind of like spot bonuses, things like that, to keep people engaged while they're home,
yeah.
which is not easy to do when you don't see them every day in the office.
Some people require
True.
that interaction. Some
Yeah.
Yeah.
people need to be in, and there should be some form of interaction, because after a while, you're just tired of, you know, you know, doing that. So I
Yeah.
can understand.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to work remotely, always.
And the
Yeah.
liability cost is less actually for
And
the employer,
yeah,
because we're not monitoring their behavior at work. inappropriate, inappropriate or
Yeah,
lack thereof.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, all of that's changed. That landscape has also changed. There's some constructive things that are going on. There's some negative in there, because you
Right.
also got to monitor the mental and emotional well-being of employees. So that's also recommended that at the top of the list, whether you're a candidate or an employer, the wellness piece.
Right.
Hmm.
But there's less liability, there's less cost from an overage perspective for building management, health, even with the buildings, there's health concerns as well, people getting ill. So all of that changes in 2021, ladies.
Ah, boy.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
you have
Well,
your work cut out
quite
for you,
frankly, I
Sandra.
don't know. What's that, Reese?
No, I said Sandra has her work cut out for her.
I
Yeah.
do. I do. And I have
Yeah.
about,
And
we're a global company. We have about, I want to say 5,000 employees under my umbrella.
Wow.
Um, but it's interesting what you hear and see every day, what people are going through, really. It's
Yeah.
a lot.
wow. Wow.
Imagine.
And that's one of the reasons why ladies and all of our listeners, I asked Sandra to join us because we're giving you content, serious content on this show. And I want you all to understand that Sandra, like she just said, she's a global company she works for, and she has 5,000 people under her management and care. So she really understands the market, the industry, and what we're doing or what the employers need to do, because, that's what she does.
Yeah.
So coming on here, giving us this insight, I really, really appreciate it. And some of the concerns that if you have any more, please feel free to share with us. But my thought was, thinking the COVID happened and it knocked us for a loop.
Hmm.
I'm telling you,
Hmm.
and knocked our socks off. And here we are. We have a vaccine, but what good is vaccine if people are not taking it? So we still are not at the point yet where people are taking the vaccine.
It's not that they
And
want to take it. I
COVID,
feel that they don't trust it yet.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
So,
still trying
but
to
the
wait it
bottom
out.
line,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But
But
the bottom line is it's not being taken right now. So that's going to take some time. So quite frankly, and the COVID numbers are still raising and going up. I think in Los Angeles, in the last day or yesterday or something, they had some 74,000 or something like that cases in a day.
New York too is going back up.
So it's
Yeah.
like, OMG, here we are, 2021 people. It didn't, just because the calendar changed from 2020 to 2021
Like a
did not mean that this thing went away. It's still here. We still have the concerns that we had before. And in terms of human resources issues, and employment issues, they persist into 2021. So with that, we want to make some solid goals, some goal planning. What are we going to do in terms of, if we're looking for a job, the
job
things that Sandra just mentioned? What do you have to keep in mind? Make your plan before you go, so to speak.
Yeah.
you
Know
know
before you
what type of
go.
job do you want to do?
Find
What do you want to go?
find joy in everything that you do, because we don't know how long we have, right? You want to make sure that you're looking to others and building your network and your resources.
Yep.
Um, Also, don't be so resistant to new opportunities or change or ways of working. You might find yourself in new roles, even if you are unemployed. A lot of us, I know you were on your show, we talked about how the unemployment rate is skyrocketed since COVID,
Yeah.
but people are finding themselves in new jobs they didn't know either existed or they
Not,
didn't think about.
yeah.
So there is opportunity.
Not even new jobs, but new businesses that are coming out of the COVID that people didn't even think that they would have a business. You know,
Exactly.
they're like, oh, I have a talent of making soap. I'm gonna do a business.
Right.
No, it's because you're
Yeah.
home, you're doing the or making candles, and then they turn it in a business, and before you know it, that's it. The
Absolutely.
COVID is working for some people, and it's not working for some. Some people are.
There you go.
Right.
Let me tell
There
you,
you go. You said
some
it, Reese.
What do we do
It's working
before
for
big
some and it's working
business?
for not some. So
yeah,
if you didn't get
Right.
anything out of this whole entire thing,
one
I
person,
mean, it's
one person I know made him some money is the Zoom people. The Zoom person,
what?
okay, whoever this Zoom inventor was, I don't think he ever thought in a million years
Well, no one would have thought that,
that it,
So
No,
I'll
This
throw one
definitely.
out there to you ladies too. You just mentioned Zoom, right?
yeah,
A lot of people see that and say, oh, missed opportunity. Not necessarily. Do you have shares? Do you have stock? Have you
There
yeah,
you
looked at
go.
what's rising right
yeah,
now?
yeah,
There are opportunities in everything. You have to look at it from both
It is.
angles.
yes,
So,
yeah.
It is.
yep.
yes. And to expound on that a little bit more, because that's what I do. People, if you missed that point, make a note. Get out your pens and your papers. Make a note. Zoom, even Amazon, some of these other companies that have skyrocketed, transportation companies throughout this COVID, okay, that normally were in the background. Now they're in the foreground,
Uber,
and we're
Uber
all
making
so dependent
Uber Eats.
on these,
Uber
yeah, Uber
Eats.
Eats, yes,
Oh, they're
on these
killing the game.
companies.
Ask Andrea about it.
Oh,
She knows. It's her best
Absolutely.
friends.
oh, who?
So perhaps, and again, I talk to everyone on this show, whether you're black, brown, purple, blue, it does not matter. We're here for you. We're very inclusive. But one of the things is the truth is our black and brown communities oftentimes do not take advantage of certain things.
Yes,
And I love the
Yeah.
fact that Sandra just mentioned that you need to be using platforms like ours, okay, to learn the information, but not just hear it, really,
actually,
not just
yes.
listen, really hear what we're saying. If like Zoom and all these other companies that are skyrocketing, you have the opportunity to
Time
perhaps
out to jump
invest
on
in
it.
their stock, buy some stock,
Absolutely. And it's
you
not
know?
hard to do. There's
No.
many
Yes,
applications that are easy to Cash App. Everybody use Cash App.
Ye-
Well, Cash App
yes,
has a feature that you can invest right on their application and look at
Yeah,
what's
I
hot
did
right
see
now.
that.
And
I see that
yep,
too.
I saw that. I wasn't for sure
really.
if it really worked because people were saying so many things about the Cash App.
I
I
have it
wasn't for sure,
and
but
it
I did see it.
works.
It
It
works.
does work.
hmm
Wow.
It
Oh,
does work.
wonderful.
And I started small. We don't, we're not talking about people that have a lot of money all the time. It does, you don't
Right,
have to have a ton of money to invest and see your investment
Right.
grow. You just have to
right.
take some of that money and put it towards budget or put it towards what you think may grow and
There you go.
watch it and see whether or not it will. And you can remove it, you could put it somewhere else, but you put a little bit aside and then you see if your investment will pan out or if it will grow. But that's one
Right.
thing you can do to
That's
That's
great.
maximize
another
your
thing. And we talked
yeah.
about that earlier in the show as well with our real estate expert, who also talked about that and mentioned that watch your money, pay attention to it so that if you have $20, just keep a check on it. And like Sandra just mentioned, move it around. If you see something else and it looks promising, perhaps you want to invest that $20 into that. You don't even have to be, we're not talking about 100,000, we're not talking about
Mhm.
$500,000.
Right.
It's whatever you can afford. And especially if you are young, okay,
I tell my
you
son that.
can do this. You can start with $10 and watch that money do some work for you,
My
as you get older.
my son, he was in a 401k with his thing. They furloughed him or whatever they call that word. I don't ever pronounce it right. And now he's actually officially they're gonna um uh, get rid of him. What's the word?
Oh,
Fine.
they're gonna lay him off.
Lay him off.
Are they
Thank
gonna
you.
lay
Fine.
him off?
They're gonna lay him
Hmm.
off with the severance pay and everything. He has a
Hmm.
good amount in his 401k. I said, do not take it out.
Yeah,
Leave
they'll
Yes.
it
penalize them.
stay. Let it stay. You're
Yeah.
young. I said that money can mature. You need
Yes.
to put it
Yep.
somewhere.
Yep.
Not listening. Not
Do not take that money out because one, if you take that money out
They're
because
gonna
it is a
penalize you.
retirement account, they penalize you. And it was
Yeah.
your money that went in, but if the moment you take it out, they now have a piece of
but
that
not only
money. They
about
will
Yeah, because they match the money. That's why. That's why
right,
they penalize
but
you.
not only that, I
yeah.
wanted him bad. You can imagine if you just let it go, just put it there, see
And
it,
leave it there and let it continue to
just
work. When you get old, when he gets older and that money matures as he gets older towards retirement age, etc., you'll be surprised.
these
So
young
a
kids
lot of young people need to
need to
understand
give
that.
them more information. Teach them while they're young.
Right.
That's what exactly. Same
Absolutely.
thing I was telling Pumpkin, my niece, the same thing I was telling her. I said, "You're 17. If you start now saving $25, put something aside with your little job you work at Panera. Trust me, I said, Pumpkin, you wouldn't have to ask nobody for nothing.
Nothing.
The amount of money. I say, listen,
There you
start
go.
from now while you're a baby. Start from now,
So
please.
Sandra, I know you go through this with. I don't know if you how young your workers are, but do you have workers that are young that you try to give advice?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And well, what's good about certain companies, like when you are in a corporate environment, they will automatically put you into the 401k. So they
Mm,
Right.
start off with it. Now, if you
okay.
choose to opt out, then that's you're making an educated choice. So that's the good news about that. But for those who are not um, eligible, or they don't immediately become eligible for 401k, these are other ways: personal IRA, like you said,
Right.
or
I'm
investment in small shares. That's another
Gotcha.
way, or just plain old, to your point, Kim, just plain old savings. Just save, right? Just $25, put
yeah.
it
Yeah.
aside in
That's right.
savings or
Yeah.
however much. So
I
there's
hope that
different ways to do that.
I really hope that the pandemic kind of let us as a people see that this we really need to have an emergency savings, and that we really need to be more when it comes to saving, because we never expected anything like this to happen to us.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
this should
Yeah. No one anticipated this. And the thing is, this is a worldwide occurrence. It's
and
not
it
just
may never
happening in one
right, and
place.
it may never happen again. But at the back of our mind, we're gonna be like, listen, we went through the pandemic.
Learn from
We're
it.
gonna learn from it, and we're gonna start doing something. Even if it don't happen again, at least we can say we have X amount of dollars in case it happens
Yeah.
again. You know what I'm saying?
So
So
learn from it, be proactive, make a plan proactively. That's why we wanted to do this at 2021, our very first show out of 2021. We wanted to proactively, meaning we're aggressively taking the initiative to come to you guys and bring to you all, a plan. Come up with a plan for this and do this proactively, looking at it maybe every week you're looking at don't just write it down and then throw it in the trash or in your trash pile,
have to
or
be
you're
consistent
forgetting,
with it.
you
Mm-hmm.
know right. So just consult it frequently and measure it. Make sure you're getting the results that you want. But I love the tips. And Sandra, I know you have to go as well because, as usual, I love my amazing guests and I just hound them and bother them till they come on the show and squeeze a little time for us. And they love us. That's why they come. Yay. So,
Absolutely. This was my pleasure, ladies. And I enjoyed talking to all three of you.
Thank you
And
so
she's
I
a
very
wish
busy
you
much.
all the
lady,
best in
guys.
2021.
Thank
Thank you.
you
You too.
so
Blessings to you,
much.
Mama. Thank you.
And
Thanks for
I'll
You're
giving
see you
us
in
a
welcome.
couple
Thank
Happy
you.
minutes.
New Year.
Take
All
care.
righty.
Bye bye, love.
Bye.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
So, I just love that she came on and I said, listen, I reached out to her. I said, you've got to come on from a human resources perspective and just give us a little bit of, the road ahead. What does that look like? She's out there every day with her people that she manages from a corporate standpoint and what's happening in that landscape. So for anybody who's looking for a job, or if you get a job and get into that 401k, if available, if they have it, make sure you take advantage of it. Any 401ks that's out there, put some money in. You can see from the pandemic right now what has happened. So take advantage of all of that stuff and make a plan for what jobs you want to do, and how you're going to use your resources. As Sandra just mentioned, use the resources, reach out to people on LinkedIn, listen to our show, get all the tips and the tricks that we share with you, write it
Mm-hmm.
down, use it. Okay. And reach out to all of your resources. Maybe it's your mama, maybe it's your auntie, your uncle, or whatever on LinkedIn. Reach out to them, anybody in your network, and introduce yourself. Say, hey, I'm looking for this type of job. Do you know of anything? So these are some of the tips. You want to write these down as goals. And I know we're running short on time. So in terms of goal planning, Reese, if you could just give us a real I'm not sure how we want to do this right now.
No,
Goal planning.
I think we covered enough today in regards to
I
that.
think we did. I think this is an awesome job.
Yeah,
I
we did.
think that awesome show. I think this was very important. This show. I think this was a great jump off. I think it needed to be extended because
Yeah.
this is something that everybody needs to hear. I
We
really enjoyed it. I'm going to tell you, I got a lot out of it. I was just rewriting my notes nicely, putting all my things together in
because
my. Let me tell you how I'm on point with my building credit book and everything. So I have all my stuff there. So yes, I'm on point. And it started from December now and everything. So this is
Very
very
good.
important. So I actually love the show. So this
basically,
is great that we
Excellent.
uh,
extended it and all.
basically, I was just gonna touch on being organized and budgeting and setting up your files, and because before you do all that,
Yes.
we can
Yes,
a follow up show. We can do that.
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely,
we
definitely.
can do a follow-up show because I love that. I wanted to drive the points home with
And
everybody. And
sorry, Carol, Reese.
yeah,
Sorry, Carol, Reese. I think that's a great idea. What you were talking about this time, adding the organizing and filing and stuff like
Yeah,
that, getting those things
because
together.
that
This is now
that
that's great
has
to add
to
on
do
with this.
with the credit. Because when you're working on your credit, you want to know what you're working with. You have to budget,
Most definitely.
all of that. I'm a stickler for filing. Putting everything,
Yeah,
yes,
that writing down. I love my planner, time management, all of that.
I
yes,
think I
yes,
think that will be a great
exactly.
segment.
Time
So
Great segment.
we're definitely going to go into that. And ladies, what I want to do is, because it's the first show, I want to just touch for everybody who have your notebooks out still and your pen and papers, just a couple quick things, because we're on the theme of making sure that you're planning for 2021, right?
Hmm.
And Kim, I know you had your notebook as well and you were taking some notes. This is what people need to do, right? First of all, I want to remind you the reason why you're setting a goal, right? What's the importance of having a goal? So that you can set your long-term vision, right? It's
That's
not a
right.
short-term thing. Be kind to yourself. You may not achieve it in the next week. It may not happen in the month. And Reese reminds me of that when I get impatient. So I'm going to also remind you guys of that, because she's always telling me, Carol, you're too impatient,
not to
you
impatient,
know?
man.
Yeah, and yeah, she is and everything.
What?
And the thing
Yeah,
about it is, she's right. In the long term, sorry to cut the long term version, vision. Excuse me. It's better to just take your time, and I'd start saying, just take your time. Like somebody was saying, and I'm just going to bring this up, and it has to do with this, with the vision and everything. Um, Someone was saying, "Oh my God, I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house. I want to do this." And one of the
yes,
realtors that I know says, "Listen, stop worrying about the houses going down. Do you have yourself prepared for these
yes,
things?" So
yes,
taking the steps, getting your credit together is your credit. And the person said to the person, she looked and she goes, "No, I don't have my credit. Wait. She said, "You're not ready anyway." So if the houses drop $100,000, are you ready to buy the house tomorrow?
exactly. You
And it
can't buy
makes
it
sense. She said,
tomorrow.
exactly. So get yourself, just going back to Reese again, take your time, be patient, get all your little duckies all in order, and be prepared when those houses crash down to where you'll be prepared. And that's my thing, my thing that I've been
Exactly.
taking and running with it too.
You
So
get
I
your
love
house
that
when
too, that
Awesome.
you're
statement.
supposed- you get your house when you're supposed to get your house.
That's right. Just
Exactly.
get your little
But
ducks ready and all that.
But exactly what Kimberly is saying. As long as you're getting those ducks in a row, when
Yep.
it happens, you're ready.
And you're
Okay.
ready.
So
That's
that's
it.
what this whole thing is about today. Start it off right, man, in 2021. Don't wait till the middle of the year. Then you're like, so we're coming at you proactively right now for 2021 to help you get started right now. It's the first week of the year. Get your pen and paper out, write it down. You don't have to get all fancy, doesn't require anything fancy. Okay, write it down. Now I want to say, how do you set a goal for yourself, right? How are you going to do this? First of all right, how are you going to choose a goal? You may not be sure what goal you want. You have, some of us are very indecisive in life. It happens. Sometimes I'm indecisive. Unfortunately, sometimes I am. I have a kid who's 12 years old, and when I tell you my kid is decisive, I admire her for her decisiveness. I wish I could be like that. So you may not really know what your goals are because you're a little indecisive about certain things. So first thing you need to do, decide. Write that down in your notebooks. How do you choose a goal? First thing, decide. Decide on what's important to you. Write down a few different things, and then you pick what's the most important things that you want, right?
And make it
Write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Kind of like making a vision board, Reese. You're absolutely right. And we're going to
Yeah,
go into
and
that,
if
and I'm
that's
going to
what you,
let
and
you.
honestly, I make jokes to Reese all the time about the vision board and everything. But let me tell you something, it works for some people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It don't work for
Yeah.
everybody, but it works for some people. And if that's something that honestly you need to do so you can actually see your vision and everything, do your vision board, write it down so that way you'll be able to focus on your goals and stuff. Some people are book people like me. You know, I like to close the book and
Yeah.
I know my
Like
vision.
me.
So yeah, I'm a
Like
book
me.
person. So I'm
I
not a
need to write
vision
it
person
down.
on board, but it works for some people and it doesn't work for another. So
Exactly.
I go for it, the way it works for you.
And that's what we're talking about today. It is different for different people. And Miss Reese is going to run with it in our next show and give you guys, and I'm going to be quiet and zip and let her do her thing.
That can
It may happen. You may happen. Not yet, but it's coming. And then tell somebody about your goals, right? I know we're running out of time and I'm rushing. Tell somebody about your goals. This is how you're going to choose your goal. Tell somebody, because a lot of times when we keep it in our heads, we might not do it, right? But as long as we tell somebody, they can say, you said you were going to do this. So stick to what you said.
I wish that in a perfect world that would happen, but I don't think that will happen. I'm sorry.
It helps. It helps because if you keep it in your head, no one knows and no one can help to keep you accountable if you're not going to keep yourself accountable. But a lot of times, if you have someone trustworthy and you tell them that my goal is going to be, and that person keeps coming to you, like your husband comes and says, didn't you say you were going to do such and such and such, buy this and this and that? Sometimes it makes you want to go, oh man, I did say that. You know
Well,
what?
that
Let me
wouldn't
get
work
this
for me.
done.
That wouldn't work for me because I'm gonna want somebody to nag me and everything like that. So me just
It
write
works
mine
for
on my
me.
book and everything and go back in my book because me keep my
It
book with
works
me
for
every day and
me.
everything. So I'm gonna want you that part there.
Or you have
It
some people
works for
like,
me.
or you have some people like, well, I set that goal for that. That is not real. That
Right, exactly. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah. Some
personally, this
people.
is what I think. This
that,
is what
that
I think. And
keep that goal to yourself.
exactly. I think what everybody should do, honestly, and this is the real deal, and I hate to say I'm not trying to be rude or be a when you're having your goals and everything like that, you really should just keep them to yourself. Simply because if it's something that you need to be reminded of something every day, then that's a different story. But a goal, because it doesn't always turn out right, that everybody want to see you achieve that goal.
Yes.
We and it's just reality, and we're gonna do that because this is real life, and we're gonna talk the truth. So what we want to do is we want to write down our goals because it was said that if you always write down your goals, you achieve them better when you write them
Yes.
down. So I would
Yes.
stick with letting them know, write down your goals, put them in a book, put them somewhere. Or if you want to do your vision board, if you decide you still want to do that vision board and you want to put it out there, that's fine because that's a reminder of you. It's not really about people. It's really a reminder of what you want to do, to be honest. To break it down. It's really about what you want to do and all. So the thing about it is writing your book. The book thing works for Kimberly. The vision board works for Reese. The book thing works for Carol. So
Yep.
writing down, keeping it to yourself. You don't have to go bragging. You don't have to get on Instagram and Facebook like everybody else and show everybody and tell everybody that this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to do that. All unnecessary. Just write it down, do what you need to do so that way and share and just and know what you're going to
Exactly.
do about it. And my all-time
Here
favorite, and pray about it. And that's it. I'm done.
and pray. You got it. Pray
That's
about
it.
it.
I don't do
Keep
anything
going.
without these goals here and anything else that comes along with this. I don't do anything all by myself. There's a prayer right along with that. Now, again, I'm not trying to get
Yep.
religious wise. Everybody to each his own. This works for me. And that's the
Yep.
only thing that I can possibly say.
I agree, my dear. I do love that one. Pray about it, but I want to
Yeah,
add a
I
little
can't
bit more.
I
A
can't
couple
move
I'm going to
that.
add to that. Yeah, you can. Hey, listen, prayer works, and
That's
I
it.
can attest to
I
that.
can't
So
move. I
everybody,
can't move
do
Pray
nowhere
your
and let
without
thing.
go.
prayer. So I
Pray and
can't.
let go. Yep.
That's it.
So listen, I want to add to that, right? Because we're running out of time. Break your goals down. Okay. A lot of times people have big goals, right? So I want to talk to everybody. Some people have small goals, some people have bigger goals. If you have
Mm-hmm.
big goals, break it down into little chunks so it's more manageable.
Right.
Plan your first step. We talked about the credit stuff for the first quarter. Plan the first step, and that's what we've been doing with you this whole show. Planning the first step, okay? And take it from there, just one step at a time. It doesn't have to be all done at once. Then keep going. Do not
Mm-hmm.
stop. Take your time and keep plowing ahead. And the last thing you want to do, you want to celebrate. And if you've achieved that goal, celebrate that goal.
Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely amazing.
Right.
Nothing wrong. And I'm going to show you guys, and I know I'm like talking over you, Reese. I'm sorry. I have multiple notebooks for different, breaking down your goals, different subjects, different businesses, and things that I handle. Go, Reese, I don't want to hear nothing from you right now, girl. Don't say nothing. I write them down into different
I
things
can
because
tell you.
they're different. And I
I have
break down my goals. And I go
different
today.
planners. Look,
Why? What am I doing for the radio? You see this? Everything radio is in there, and I break down those goals. But then I have a planner, Miss Reese. You'll be proud of me. I have a planner, and it says make each day count. And this is my planner that I have. And I go in there, and every day I write down my accomplishment for that day. It could be one thing I accomplished. It doesn't have to be 10, 15 things. It could be one thing. Be
That's
kind
right.
to yourself, everybody. So we're gonna come back to this topic. I
yes,
know we're running right now. We're gonna come back, and Reese gonna get a chance to talk.
yes, yes.
It's just so cute.
I know, right?
Love her to death. So listen, she'll get to, because she's the planner, everybody. And I'm gonna honestly gonna tell you this. She is the planner. She has all this planning stuff in her planners and blah blah blah. I don't even get into that. And she's gonna break down her vision board and how you should be doing it. We'll come back to this show. But for now, we have to sign off. We have to thank you for riding with us today, sticking with us. We are Let's Connect, everybody. And we kicked off 2021 with a bang.
Sure did.
Come back here every Wednesday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on myturnradio.net, Eastern Standard Time. Come back with us. We love you. We will see you next week. And as usual, we are Let's Connect, the show where you find
More compassion.
more empathy.
And less judgment.
Thank you,
Bye
guys. And
bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening.